Good morning. We are back for day 3 of action here in Split, Croatia. It is finals day to the real business end of the Rugby Europe Sevens Championship 2026. It's the second leg. It is the deciding leg, and we have a full day of action for you coming up. Now, just to once again remind everyone back home, there has been a change to the schedule due to the severe weather warning this evening. We're trying to get through the play a little bit quicker, which does mean a slight change in the times. The breaks have been reduced, so we'll have kickoff at 10:30, and then after the break we'll be rejoining the action at 2:30, and then we'll have another short break before we have the third, fourth place games at 6 o'clock. So everything is happening a little bit earlier than planned, starting from the ranking games of the women's competition. It'll all be an hour and a half earlier, so just be aware of that and make sure you log in on time to watch your favourite teams. And we will be starting with the first block, and it'll be the women's semi-finals ranking games, followed by the men's semi-final ranking, and then progressing with the cup competition. So the first game will be Portugal-France, followed by Belgium-Great Britain in the women, and then we'll be back to the men's for Georgia-Great Britain, Germany-Portugal, and then we get into the real cup competition. And that's going to be really exciting. We've got a strong Irish women's team, much improved from Hamburg, facing off with Germany, who are now facing the prospect of their best ever finish in the Rugby Europe Sevens Championship Series. Poland also looking incredibly strong. They've turned up with a squad stacked with stars, and they're fantastic athletes. They'll face a technically accurate Spain, who are also in fine form this weekend. So a lot of action to look forward to today. France facing off with Spain in the men's semi-final, and Italy facing off with Belgium. So a lot of action for you today. On screen for you now is obviously the women's series and the order of events there. We're 7 minutes away from kickoff here, and like I said, it will be the women's ranking semi-final between Portugal and France. Portugal finishing first in Group B, so maybe slightly disappointed to have a maximum possible finish of 5th place here after a fantastic group stage. France finished second in Group A with an incredibly young squad. They're looking to develop the depth after topping the table in Hamburg, and like I said yesterday a couple of times, there's no one older than 23 in their team. They've even got young Anaïs Diallo, 17 years old, 2 18-year-olds as well, 2 19-year-olds, and as I said, no one older than 23, so a very young French side, and that's quite exciting to see here in Croatia. All that coming up in just about 6 minutes. I'm going to sort my notes, and I'll be back to talk you through the first game, all the action coming up. I'll be joined by Andy Knight, our resident expert, so don't go anywhere. Back in 1 or 2 minutes to talk you through that first semi-final ranking game in the women's competition. So welcome back to the action in Split. As promised, it is the 25th women's game of the weekend. It's the ranking semi-final between Portugal and France. The players are just gathering in the tunnel. I walked through the players area earlier and it's a hive of action. They're all scurrying around like busy little bees with tennis balls and foam rollers and all sorts, getting their bodies ready to perform for one last time in the European Championship Series. Very relaxed vibes here. It's another lovely day, but we do have that severe weather warning for this afternoon, so let's hope those clouds and storms stay away until we have wrapped up the action and crowned our European champions for the season. Two minutes from kickoff in Split. This is a Portuguese squad coached by João Moura and captained by Maria Costa. They've looked very good this weekend, moving the ball freely, just not quite getting all the results they want, which leaves them battling it out in these ranking games. France, I mentioned it before, how young this squad is. We have 17-year-old Anaïs Diallo, a future star, getting great experience here this weekend. And they have no one older than 23 in their squad, so a seriously young French team, and they'll be playing in their white kit from right to left. The game officiated by Mary Pringle of Scotland, representing the SRU this weekend in Croatia. And the replacements leave the field, which means we are ready to get underway here. Portugal with the kickoff in their classic red kit. I'm joined as promised by Andy Knight, our resident expert. Good morning, Andy. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, good morning, Ian. Cracking day again. A little bit windy possibly, but I'm sure that won't dampen the spirits of this first game, which promises to be a cracker as well. France against Portugal. Really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to the finals day, how it all pans out. We're going to see relegation, promotion. We're going to see new crowned champions, quite possibly. But what a day it's going to be as we see France already getting into the swing of things with a lovely break up the left side, but unfortunately it peters out as they couldn't get that last pass away, and into touch it goes.
Yeah, slight inaccuracy with that pass as the Portuguese player just managed to grab the shoulder and force the error as France looked to be cruising away for try number one, but thwarted with the last effort just about 10 metres out, so Portugal with the line out. And it goes well for them. Oh, but a slight knock on from the scrum half there, maybe just taking her eye off the ball as she came under pressure from the opposition. That'll give France an excellent opportunity here, Andy.
Yeah, Dos Santos she just stepped back when that ball came down. Instead of stepping into it, stepped back, maybe hoping it would come, and you could see her eyes just look up as three big, powerful French women were looking to eat her up there, and she just managed to knock it on to give the ball back to France for a scrum.
Yeah, and the scrum fed by 19-year-old Le Francois, and France struggling to get clean ball out of that set-piece situation, but they have possession, and they're attacking the blind side with numbers, powering through a challenge and being dragged down just 7 metres out from the try line. Portugal looked to have strayed offside there. Maria Pringle plays advantage. France with the penalty just in front of the post, about 10 metres out. They choose the scrum. So the first scrum slightly messy there, Andy, but this is a great attacking platform, which is why they'll be choosing that, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. A little bit messy there. France not quite into the swing of things, into the passing systems that they know that they've got, and I think it was Larame there that started it and just couldn't quite get the ball to hand. However, they do have the ball back again in a prime position for attacking.
And they move the ball out to the wide right, stepping and fending, looking for the first score of the ranking semi-finals, and they do get over the line on the third chance of the game. That's Fiorese with the try. We've seen her score a couple this weekend. A great young talent at just 18 years of age.
Yeah, lovely score down the outside. It was quite simple in the end. The hands were a bit better. Went through the motions there from the scrum, breaking right, getting into the outside, and just a little outside break round the right hand side and over the line for a dot down.
Yeah, and the conversion was great. What a brilliant kick that was. Here we see the replay of the try. 18-year-old Fiorese getting the dot down. And what a kick it was from the tightest of angles. So France in control of this after 3.5 minutes of play. Portugal, however, with possession and only one try deficit. Coming under pressure, this is a real feature of the French sides, both men's and women's. They really like to pressurise in defence. They work very hard off the ball, which often gives them the opportunity with the ball. And once more, Portugal going down the blind side. They found some space this time, but unable to get the pass away. And France with the advantage from a little knock on there.
Yeah, we saw France put the pressure on Da Costa there. She's the big Portuguese number 7. We've talked about her through the tournament, and maybe not firing on all cylinders this tournament, but what a player she is. And the French put 2 players onto her to drive her backwards and put the Portuguese under pressure, and eventually they coughed up the ball for France again to attack. A nice wide move here, hopefully get the ball through the hands, and let's hit that outside shoulder.
A little wrap around play there, trying to target outside shoulder, but Mota Marquez not allowing that. And on the second chance, France do break through their number 5, Renaudin. And that's one of the 20-year-olds of the squad, so another young player, future talent for sure, getting the second try of the game.
Yeah, quite simple play, but well worked at the very start, as we talked about that turnover, getting into the scrum position, moving the ball away from contact of all the big players from Portugal, just opening up some gaps. And we've seen Renaudin all through this tournament. She's been a bit of a playmaker as well as a finisher. She does a little bit of everything, and on this occasion decides to go herself through under the post for a dot down. I think it was converted try as well, wasn't it, Ian? So it's 14-0 to France.
Indeed it was, converted by number 91, Cheminon. And Portugal with possession.
1 minute to go.
Driving, having to work hard to maintain possession as the French try to rip. But there's no roll from the tackling player, so it's a penalty for Portugal, and they come away tapping quickly. France retreating very quickly to 10 metres, so they're able to pressurise and they win back possession, and now transitioning straight into attack on the wide right, moving the ball freely and not forcing anything at this stage. They're just going through the phases, going through the motions, trusting their systems. And they do find a player in space on the wide left-hand side. She's got one already, that's Toni Fiorese. And she has been bundled into touch by Da Costa. What a great cover tackle.
Yeah, I like the fact that Fiorese, that she just pinned back her ears and went for it down this outside channel. However, Da Costa was up to it on this occasion, coming over with a cover tackle. Just got her foot into touch. So good cover tackle, good play by Portugal, good defence, and they'll get the line out on their own 5 metre line.
Yeah, the good short play on that line out. The winds have picked up a wee bit again today, so not risking a high ball, just going low to the front player. And coming under pressure on their own 5 metre line here. France trying to go for the jackal. I didn't see a release there. And Mota Marquez comes away with the ball. She's seen an opportunity down the left-hand side. The pass is good. And it'll be a sprint. It'll be a sprint for the try line, and it looks like one that Portugal will win. So they are hitting back with a try of their own. under the posts. Try number 1 for, I think that was Mata, but we'll confirm that for you guys in a second back home. Regardless of who scored it, Portugal get the 5-pointer and it's under the posts, so you would think this would be converted, Andy.
Yeah, that was great play from Portugal. From their own 5-metre line, a difficult one to do in these conditions, that's for sure, but they won the line out, set the ruck up, moved the ball into the middle for a bit of space. There was some great defence from the French team, which we thought, oh my goodness, this is going to get smashed backwards. However, that class player, that Motamarca says, she managed to free up her hands a little bit, get the pass out to Mata, and off she went for a little trot right the way down the field. Well played, Portugal. Brings them back into this game as the half-time hooter is gone, and the teams will get a little bit of respite and a little word in their ears from the coaches.
Yeah, great first half of action there for day 3 here in Split, Croatia. France, the slight favourites possibly, with their young squad. Andy, is this all going as you would have expected? Is there anything that you're hoping to see in the second half?
Well, what I have learned from yesterday and the day before, Ian, is let's not look at favourites and who's going to win what, because we've had so many upsets, or what we thought were upsets, by teams playing out of their skin, other teams maybe not reaching the potential that they want to reach. Both these teams are excellent. I really do think that it's a 50-50 game on this one, not knowing which French team's going to turn up and which Portuguese team's going to turn up. So I think we're in for a really good second half. I think it's going to be the phrase of yesterday was tit for tat. So there's going to be some toing and froing, I think I'll use today, going backwards and forwards. Both teams have the ability to stretch their legs out and go the full length of the field, as we've just seen, but both teams also have the ability to smash it up the middle and knock people over, pulling in defenders. So where's it going to go? I really cannot answer that one on this occasion.
Absolutely not. You wouldn't be able to, would you? This is live sport and anything can happen. Very unpredictable here, and like you said, a bit of tit for tat. We've got 2 tries for 1. France taking a 14-point lead before Portugal hit back with a try of their own, converting under the post. So the second half just about ready to get underway here, and France to kick off. It goes long this time, finding grass and bouncing kindly, and France straight back into possession, deep within the Portuguese half. Oh, but they cough it up just 10 metres out from the try line, and Portugal will regain possession from that.
Yeah, it's a tactic we saw on day 1 where the wind was a bit stronger and the kick started to try and go over the tail defender. And on this occasion, Zizi managed to get up there and put some pressure on Portugal. I think in the Portuguese it was Cortez, and just went over her head, possibly Mata. But great pressure by France to push the Portuguese back as they now escape their own 22 with a big long kick and chase.
Yeah, and tearing off behind that, chasing well, it was Mota Marquez, but regathered by the young French player Fiorese, and she transitions into attack very well indeed, finding space down the left-hand side and finding an available player as well. Yeah, Portugal straight back with a penalty. Sorry, Andy.
I was going to say once again it was Renaudin that was our support player, but great play by Fiorese to get back, but excellent work by the Portuguese defence to get the turnover, and that's another penalty. They'll be marched back 10, they weren't back 10, sorry, so great speed of thought there by the Portuguese to just tap and go and get the French when they're not set.
Yeah, that was a big error from Fiorese. The rest of her team were set. She was the only player in offside position and just couldn't resist attempting to make that tackle. So she's really cost their team possession and territory on that occasion. But they will rally and try to follow that up with a win at the scrum.
Yeah, we're just seeing Dufault come on. She had a lovely couple of breaks yesterday as well. So it'll be interesting to see she's positioned herself out wide. So that'll be a nice, interesting matchup between her and Mata.
Yeah, and she is the captain of this team, one of the more experienced players at 23 years of age, so she's the oldest in the squad. It's not often you say that, a 23-year-old being the oldest. Portugal once more with a penalty, so the discipline of France really being tested on this occasion. and Portugal come away. A loose pass behind Mota Marquez. She regathers under great pressure. French attempt the counter ruck, but unsuccessfully this time. And that pass just strays forward, sliding through the fingers. And France once more with possession. So this second half up till now all happening in the middle parts of the pitch, Andy. No team really able to capitalise.
Yeah, not at the moment. It is some to and froing, as we say, just a little bit of settling the nerves in this second half, but that was a great hit by Reinaudin there, just on the number one from Portugal, Fernandes, absolutely unceremoniously dumped to the ground, and France get the put in at the scrum, and once again, another good position.
Immense pressure from the Portuguese scrum. They look really strong in that area. And they go for the counter ruck, but no success, so they fan out into defence, set the line and try to pressurise in the middle. Reducing the options for France, they're forced to just hit it up and attacking the fringes on this occasion. A little bit more success, getting some momentum and releasing and picking up again. And now they fan out to the left-hand side before hitting back on the right. I don't know if that was maybe a slight miscommunication. They looked to have fanned out very nicely on the left. And Portugal managing to isolate the attacking player and regain possession of their own. Now we know the Portuguese can break in an instant. That's how they got their first try. And once more a counter-ruck comes in, this time from France, and a turnover from Da Costa. So about 3 or 4 changes of possession in the blink of an eye there, Andy.
Yeah, that's a great from a defensive coach's point of view, the hard work that's been put in by both teams. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed that France with Kozar went up this near side, because all their players were set up on the left side, and at the same time Portugal were quite tight. They were obviously expecting it to be a bit of a battle in there. However, they came up here, got the turnover, then France got the turnover, and once again Da Costa, she's a big strong lady. She got her hands on that ball, knees nice and low. There was no way you were going to move her even if you tried to counter ruck her. So well played to Portugal to get this position on the field. Once again, 15 in the 15 channel, big wide open spaces to play with.
And Portugal moving the ball to the middle of the park. Mota Marquez with a wraparound, but she had to go a long way backwards to receive that ball. And Portugal losing metres in attack. Looking for a half gap there, but France closed the door very quickly. And one pass Rugby at the moment. This isn't going to break down the French defence, I don't think. And another loose pass, just putting Da Costa under pressure. She regathers well and gets out of one tackle. Eventually dragged down by Cheminot. And Portugal through Mota Marquez once more. The French defence just swarming round the ball carrier and making the Portuguese life very difficult, but they see an opportunity down in the fringes. Making the break here, it's the captain Costa. She gets her hands free, tries to keep the ball alive, and they do move the ball well, but unable to get the ball back in a forward motion.
Yeah, the Portuguese are a player down at that moment. Da Costa, she's out. She's signalled to the bench to come off, and she was just hands on knees on her own try line there. I think we'll see a sub coming on very, very shortly for her. So Portuguese playing with 6. They couldn't get that structure. As you said, it was Costa that made a little break. Maria Costa was lovely, but not the quick enough support to get with her to really make it count, and the French managed to snuffle out what was happening there, as we do see that change coming with Da Costa coming off, and 2 Portuguese substitutes coming on, but also French making a substitute and bringing Nere on as well.
Yeah, and the new players for Portugal are number 14 Santos and number 4 Pedro. So fresh legs for both teams on the park, and Da Costa can take a rest. She's done her work for this semi-final of the ranking tournament. France off in a very strong position here. They'll try to replicate what worked well for them in the first half, attacking those outside shoulders, and that's exactly what they do. Good footwork as well, just creating this space and scampering in. You called it when she came on the pitch. It's the captain, Dufros.
Yeah, that's the pace that she's got. It's quite funny that she said she's one of the most experienced players at, I think, 23 years old or so. But what footwork there. She just showed, dipped the left shoulder, pushed to the right on the outside, and just had too much pace for the Portuguese defence. But lovely handling from the French again. This is what we're used to seeing from them, moving the ball into the wider channels, as we just see that kick going between the posts there from Chimenon. Lovely kick straight through there. That's another 2 points on the board for France.
I believe it fell short, Andy. I think she hit the line perfectly, but I do think that kick just falling in front of the crossbar there. I didn't see the flags go up.
You may be correct, as we see the scoreboard sitting at 19-7. Apologies, it just looked lovely from this point. And it seems to be that the game's over. We need to get the scoreboard here.
That's the match.
Yeah, it is the match, Andy. That is full time, and the conversion wasn't successful. We just saw that on the screen here. So it is 19 points to 7, a French victory, and they progress through from this ranking semi-final, and they'll battle it out again later today. And the action, there's no let up here. Moving straight on, it will be the second of these women's ranking semi-finals up next for you, featuring Belgium and Great Britain. So non-stop action here in Split, Croatia. Andy, let's talk nitty-gritty. Belgium, they were struggling yesterday to get momentum without Lisa Goossens. What do they need to do in attack to really get that forward momentum today?
Well, I'm hoping they've done a little bit of analysis on themselves last night and just looked at what they've done wrong. And there wasn't the Belgium that we've seen of past games and past tournaments. They didn't get the ball into the wide channels often enough. They didn't get the accuracy of pass, and I'm hoping that they've managed to look at that and said, okay, we either need to stand a half a metre closer or half a metre deeper, whatever the coaches decide, and we want to see the accuracy, because when they do flow, they flow, and they've got enough strength and depth in this squad to be able to attack spaces and really take this game to GB. I mean, GB are playing well, though. They've got some great talent in there. They've clicked a lot better than they did against in Hamburg. I mean, they didn't have much time together, and we had an interview with Eva Wood yesterday, and she was explaining they've still not had that much time together, but they do have a bit more. They do have a bit more continuity happening.
And we're just about ready to get underway. The fans soaking up the atmosphere. That looks to be a Belgian contingency, enjoying the morning sun. As the players gather in the tunnel there, we see them. Great Britain led out by number 10 and captain Katie Schilliker. The Belgian counterpart is Margot Stebbins, 33 years of age, an experienced figure and a brilliant athlete for Belgium Sevens. Game number 2 on day 3, the final day in Split. Great Britain against Belgium. And we see referee Jenny Lee of Spain, a regular stalwart on the Rugby Europe competitions, so a wealth of experience to officiate this game. The replacements jog off the field, take their position on the bench, and we are ready to get underway. It will be Great Britain to kick things off with Millie Hyatt. Her kickoffs have been absolutely excellent all weekend, so this will be a challenging one, I'm sure. And she finds grass in the middle of the park, the ball bouncing and bobbling. Belgium just able to regather, running onto that ball with speed. And recycling well as well from the first breakdown, so they look to go wide from the first attack. a real feature of the Belgian game is this wide play. They like to get the ball moving fast and the legs moving even faster. This time they attack the short side, a little variation on this occasion. But Great Britain with ferocious defence, more than up for that. And they pressurise the centres once more, trying to stop the Belgians from playing that wide game that they're so used to. That was good defensive work from Great Britain. A nice wrap around there, that's forced the outside player to cut in for GB, but Belgium stopped in their tracks once more, and that's Gurney. We know what she can do. She's a real powerhouse, but a quick powerhouse, and she's charging towards the line with all her explosivity and getting under the post to get things underway. After 1 minute and 20 seconds, Belgium get the first 5-pointer.
Yeah, well, hopefully this is what we asked from Belgium. You know, the movement, that first play that they had, the 4 passes, they went from 15 to 15s, moving that ball, all passes out in front. So they've spread the GB defence, then they've taken the ball back and just tied in a few more defenders. And we see Gernay just going from her own half under the post. Too much speed for Ava Wood. Well played Belgium for that first score, and lovely conversion from Margot Stevens as well. Good start to this game for Belgium.
Yeah, very good start to the game, and the winner of this match will face off with France in the 5th place final later today. So a lot to be played for both teams here, and Shilika recycles and distributes to the left hand side. Belgian defence on point, and the ball squirts out the back of the breakdown under the pressure. So Belgium turning over on the 22 of Team GB, and GB transitioning into defence very well there, and they're applying real pressure on Portugal, on Belgium. Maybe I need another coffee, Andy. I'm tripping over my own tongue.
Yeah, I think it's more than coffee you need there, but really good pressure, as you say, from GB, pushing this Belgian team back into their own half. But now they've got reset. Now they're starting to just get the ball protected, get the ball set up, but we're still seeing strong defence from GB as that Belgian team are nice positioning here, as we see Bondieu moving the ball wide with a little juggle, little turnover for GB.
Yeah, and Lucia Scott capitalising on that well. Great Britain do have the ball and attacking here through a Greenway, one of the stars of the tournament this weekend. She's been electric. Belgian defence up to the challenge and not giving Britain any space to work with at all here. And the pass not accurate enough on this occasion. That gives Belgium once more the ball and possession in the half of GB. Charging towards the line. That must be Bakonda, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed. We've seen her score a lot of tries on the outside. This time she goes under the sticks.
Yeah, that's a great score from Bakonda there, just powering through the middle. Too much strength and power for the GB team there. Just managed to get the little turnover, but great work on the far side from about 6 phases ago when we saw 3 Belgian players really trying to get to the GB attack, and they managed to disrupt ball and get it away. However, as we said, the GB pushed them back to their own half, but great composure shown by Belgium to hold on to the ball for a little bit longer, be patient, and eventually the gap opened up for Bakondo to go through for Belgium's second try.
Yeah, and as you were talking, we saw Margot Stebbins converting successfully. So Belgium with a good lead here in the first half. 4 minutes 40 seconds played, and GB will look to answer that immediately. Loverbond almost just falling over. So that's Millie Hyatt just falling over in that breakdown, but not penalised. So Great Britain do retain possession. And Shilika slightly slow to the back of that breakdown as well. It's not the quickest of balls, so Belgian defence well set. And that makes it difficult for GB to get that outside shoulder and really attack in the width. A really messy breakdown there, but quite clearly a Belgian player lying on the wrong side of the breakdown, making life difficult for the British team. who come away now, moving the ball nicely. That's Greenway once more, playing the ball in the width. Slightly static maybe, but the offload is good, and that brings some more momentum into the game. If they can recycle quickly, they might just present a gap. And probing well, getting the ball free and moving it into the wider challenge. Katie Schilliker putting on the accelerator, swerving round the outside of Gurney, and it's a race to the line. Katie Schilliker with the answer for Great Britain after 6 minutes of play. How important is that, Andy?
Yeah, it's well needed for GB, that's for sure. And I think Katie Schilliker, heard you talking about her saying she was slow, and she certainly wasn't slow when she went round the edge of Gurney there, and also outstripping the pace of Isabet. Both of them have got a bit of speed and power about them, so well played from Katie Schilliker to bring GB back into this game. 14 points to 7 with around 30 seconds to go in this first half.
I don't think I ever accused Katie Schilliker of being a slouch. She was slow in support and one breakdown, Andy. That's a very different thing. Thanks for keeping me on my toes, though. Anyway, Hyatt to kick off. Long once more into the 22 of Belgium. Just 10 seconds left, so we'll hear the buzzer sounding soon, and Belgium will look to see out this half, maybe with a try of their own. Gurney straightens up, attacking the same defenders that have just been forced to tackle and ruck. Now down the right hand side, Bakonda in support. She was a second try scorer, and she streaks away once more in a foot race with Lucia Scott, and it's a foot race that Bakonda will win. She slows slightly as she approaches the try line with a little look over her shoulder, and she's in for her second and Belgium's third.
Yeah, once again, really good play from Belgium. We saw Cécile Blondieu, experienced player, just controlling things on this side, but as we asked for at the start of the day, we wanted to see Belgium with these passes out in front, using the wide open spaces, and that's what they're doing. Their passes are accurate, players are running onto the ball, they're playing for each other, and if you can get the ball into the hands of Bakonda, then she will go the full length of we've just seen, and fantastic play by her. And going into half time, we see Belgium 21 points up to 7 after Margot Stevens popped that conversion over.
Yeah, cracking game here, isn't it, Andy? And Belgium will be delighted to have got a score just before the half time after Great Britain answering with a try of their own. So that just keeps that lead at 14 points. Here we see Katie Schilliker with her try. Casual as you like after she put in all the hard work in the wide channel. And Bakonda doing pretty much the same thing, burning her opposition on the outside and just jogging it in under the sticks. Team GB getting some final instructions before the second half gets underway here. Sevens is a quick old game, there's not much time at half time, so the information must be given quickly. Hydration of highest priority. And a nice player-led huddle there, the coaches just pulling themselves out, something I love to see personally. The players know best what is to be done.
Yeah, I think from a Belgium side it's more of the same. Their passes have been accurate, their breakdown skills have been very good. There's just that one little try went in from the speedster Schilliker going round the outside, but with some tired bodies possibly at that point in time. But all in all, it's a promising start for Belgium. Now they have the wind at their back as well. They can add that extra element of the game, which could be the kick and chase as well, just keeping GB in their own 22. However, we have seen many a team breaking out from their own 5 metre line and going the full length of the pitch, so they have to be aware that if they do put kicks in, they have to have the chase, they have to try and tie the team in. But let's hope that it's not a kicking game in Sevens. Let's hope that it's a free-flowing handling game as we see Stevens get the game underway.
Yeah, we're back underway here. Great Britain catching the ball nicely, and there's been a couple of changes for Belgium. I've not picked up exactly who's taken the field, but Bakonda is definitely on the bench now in front of us, and I think it's number 9 Scuriel who has taken to the field for her So fresh legs in the wide channel, but she cuts in on this occasion. That gives Britain a chance to attack down the left-hand side and streaking away. I've sung her praises all weekend. It's Courtney Greenway getting an answer for Great Britain after 30 seconds of the second half. It's exactly what they needed here to stay in contention in this game.
Yeah, lovely break, lovely bit of pace. Scoriel unfortunately just followed the player running the inside line and just opened up that gap in the 15-metre channel to allow Greenway to go the whole way. She, however, was chased by Brooks the whole way down, keeping her out into the 15-metre channel to make the kick. Not the easiest kick in the world there by Shaw de Leon, and kick's not good. We could see she was asking to go for Greenway to go under the post, but that takes the score to 21 points to 12.
Yeah, Shaw de Leon, the youngest player in this British team. She's a star for the future for sure, but maybe just a little bit of a C rather than a J shape in that kick. So catching on the outside of the foot, and Belgium now in possession after the kick-off, looking to answer straight away and extend that lead. Gurney doing what she does best, up the guts kind of stuff, and the attack round, wrapping round on the right hand side, a little inside step, just creates the space, and that's the captain, Margot Stevens, who did make the break, but Great Britain turning over well and staying big under close attention from the Belgian defence. Hyatt was recycling the ball well, and Greenway feeding it further on, and they're attacking the outside shoulders here, looking for space in the 15-metre channels. Two Belgians making the tackle, and Great Britain playing some very good rugby here. That's the little hard line in the step. That is Shaw de Leon with the offload as well. It's just drifted forward. That's a matter of centimetres in that one, I think, Andy. The referee must have a ruler in her pocket.
Yeah, she was right on point there to see what was going on. But lovely break by Stevens up the outside line here. She just turned Lucia Scott inside out, but Lucia Scott was having none of it. Got the tackle in eventually, then managed to get the turnover. And then what I liked was GB managed to fan out and get the ball into the wide channels, which is what they need to do to try and combat this powerful defence of Belgium. However, that little mistake just at the end there, allowing Belgium to get the ball back in a promising position in the middle of the field. Options open on both sides.
And we've seen a couple of changes again. So Bakonda's back on the field, and Collett is as well, and that is the ball in the hands of Bakonda. She's got two. She's going for a hat-trick. Dragged down by two defenders, and she's bundled just into touch. You can see her doing everything within her powers just to stay away from that line, but the British defence too strong on this occasion.
What a great coaching call that was. You know, they have a split scrum here, a one-on-one for Bakonda, but on this occasion GB defence was up for it. The great scramble. However, they have managed to gain about 50 metres, 45 metres here, putting GB on their 5-metre line with a line out in this wind. Never easy, and it has gone astray, but their luck is very well played. They've managed to recruit it and regather it and get it out to the outside channels. Bit scrappy though, a little bit scrappy, and another knock on by GB. Just these individual errors, these little technical faults, just setting into their game and not allowing them to get the free-flowing game that we know they can play.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough day, tough weekend in the office for Team GB. They've had mixed results, but great potential in this side. We've had 3 minutes 40 of play in the second half of this second ranking semi-final. Belgium with the 9-point advantage and possession. Charging towards the line, she'll be held back in this occasion by strong British defence. Under the post again, trying to go the route one, but Britain awake to that, and another good tackle comes in against Gurney. First a low tackle and then the assistant up high. That is the try though. We see a thumbs up from the in-goal assistant, And Belgium just extending their lead from 9 to 14 points with a conversion to come.
Yeah, that was just pure grit this time from Belgium. There's nothing fancy about that. It was just rumble. On the line there, the important thing was getting the score. They were probably disappointed that they didn't manage to get over with Baconda down the right-hand side originally. However, on this occasion, I think it was Verkamer that managed to power her way over and just get underneath, just to the left of the sticks, and Belgium get the conversion as well to take them up to 26 points to 12, and just under 2 minutes to go in this game.
And call it. The replacement for Stevens gets us underway with that kick. Another good kick-off. Taken well by Great Britain. And they look to move the ball again wide. Baconda coming up hard. Greenway taken down on the 22. And there's a penalty for the tackler not rolling away. So Great Britain with an opportunity here. They'll need to hit back very quickly if they're to stay in this game. On that pass, just not accurate enough, so that'll hurt them here. Make the build-up a little bit more difficult. Greenway thinks she's seen an opportunity. And it was a half chance. She had to throw that pass. She had to throw caution to the wind because they must score quickly. But it's not been successful, and with 1 minute left to be played, just under 1 minute left to be played, Belgium are back in position and look to be in full control of this fixture.
Yeah, I think Belgium will go on and win this now. That was the opportunity, wasn't it? But Greenway couldn't quite get the ball to hand. Maybe just too late with the pass, but as you said, had to throw caution to the wind, try everything. But just not quite going to hand to free up the winger to go the length. And as we say, 50 seconds to go. I suspect that Belgium will be moving this ball out to the outside channels again and just controlling the game, not allowing GB any opportunities to get the ball here, and possibly even just have a go down the outside to get another try on the scoreboard.
Playing a nice deep pass there and a wrap around, then putting boot to ball. I think that'll evade the chasing Baconda. It does indeed as it rolls over the line. I think you could see quite clearly by the flight of the ball that wasn't the cleanest of strikes. It was a tactical decision, but just not quite executed as planned.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea. I like the thought of it. I'd love to have seen Baconda right out in the 5 metre line and the kick gone really wide to see what happens, but maybe a little bit of lack of communication, lack of understanding of what they were trying to do. But Belgium do get the ball back off this line out and move the ball into their wide channels once more.
Yeah, once more to Baconda, but she just unable to gather the ball. It doesn't stick. It is full time though. They won't be worried about that. They have won this game and they will progress to the next match against France then later today, playing for 5th place. Very little rest here today in the action. It's going to be pretty non-stop stuff, especially with that severe weather warning we've had, so we're trying to get through play a little bit quicker. Some of the games have been moved forward by an hour and a half later in the day, and we'll be following up those ranking semi-finals of the women's competition with the men's ranking games, and we have Georgia against Great Britain. That is coming up for you in just a moment's time. There we see the Georgian squad. They top Pool B, so maybe slightly disappointed to be in this position of playing in the ranking semi-finals, but they have a lot of motivation to push forward today. I saw the players as well. They were down here really early. The atmosphere seems to be good among their squad. As we see the British squad as well, that's the opposition for this game. They achieved a 7th place finish in Hamburg. Whereas Georgia achieved 8th. So this is a repeat of that 7th place final from Hamburg, just a little bit earlier in the tournament this time, in the ranking semi-finals.
Yeah, we spoke to Ron Frostwick yesterday at the end of the day, obviously telling us that they were disappointed with the way that they played in Hamburg, didn't quite fulfill the potential that they had, but not a lot of training together, not a lot of cohesion in the squad. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the fact that the players weren't good. It was just the time that they had together. So they were a bit disappointed. So they've come into this tournament with a different mindset and another training session or two and coaching session under the belt, and they're showing that they're into a better position. Still not as high as they would want to be, but at the same time they're in a position where they can finish a little bit higher than they did in Hamburg.
Yeah, agreed, Andy. I think this British team looks quite handy this weekend. They've maybe not had the result. You were saying Frosty was a wee bit disappointed, but a lot of potential in this team, as we see Marco Manelli of Portugal, the official for this game. Georgia will kick off, playing from left to right in match 25 of the men's competition. It's a ranking semi-final, and we're just about to get underway. A short blow of the whistle signals that we are ready. Georgia can kick, and they do, and it's a very contestable one that they do manage to get under. And Britain have knocked it on in that contest, so it'll be an immediate opportunity to attack after only 20 seconds for Georgia, retaining their own kickoff.
Yeah, it was a good kick, and it was a good challenge from GB originally. They did really well to get up there, and Radcliffe got himself in a good position in case Georgia got there for the knockback, which they did, but unfortunately couldn't control the ball, and just a little knock on to give the put in at the scrum to Georgia. And great chasing from Frostwick there just to slow down that Georgian attack, but he couldn't roll away. He was tied in there. Nothing malicious once again, but there was just no way he was getting out of there with Georgia holding him in a little bit. It looks like they're going to do the little tap moves of him some sort.
That's exactly what they're going to do here, Andy. They've lined out with two lines of attack on the right hand side, some deep players, some flat players, and they do play out the back too in the depth before moving it out wide, where we see a little grubber, and Owsley dealing with that well. He is first to gather the ball and touches it down over his own line, but I think the ball had just touched the dead ball line first, so it was a dropout here that we've seen in GB advancing well but knocking it on once more, and Georgia all the way back to where they started from that initial scrum. A second bite at the cherry, so to speak.
Yeah, the dropout there been taken quickly by Frostwick. He saw Lloyd Gilmore there with some speed and got some distance on it, but unfortunately Lloyd Gilmore just got his hand onto or fingertips onto the ball and just knocked it on to give the ball back to Georgia in the same position that they were in just a moment ago.
So Georgia come away this time, hitting it up in the middle, in the centres, snapping back to the left hand side. That was very quick ball, and it has Britain on the back foot already. Oh, I think that was that? No, that wasn't Frosty. That was the number 11 for Great Britain. It's Murray Waugh getting in a great position over that ball. And although Britain were, it looked to be on the back foot, they've come up with a good jackal on that occasion.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that was a hard run there by Georgia's Ali Begashvili, who was like powering up there, but he got hit by two players and they managed to turn that over. So well played from GB as we now see them on the attack and powering up the middle, only to move it wide once more.
Yeah, Samuel Kildon attacking on the outside shoulders, and they retain ball well. It was Owsley with the clean at the breakdown. So good work there from all involved, and the referee almost getting in the way there, but Britain evade him as well. Owsley, Kildon, Kildun for the try. Samuel Kildun getting this game underway, so to speak, in the scoring sense. First 5 points.
Yeah, great work again from Radcliffe in the middle, just to crash it up and present ball quickly, and the ball comes out to Owsley, who puts the pass into Kildun there on the outside, who managed to go in under the post. And I'm surprised not to see you there, Ian, just getting a photo with him like you did with his sister last night.
Well, his sister is the superstar here at Split. We've got a lot of headline acts at the party, but honestly, to meet an MBE in person will always be an honour for me. Owsley just knocking that on, unfortunately, as he contests for the ball. He's a little bit disappointed. He doesn't think he touched it, but deep down inside he knows he did. And it's a scrum for Georgia, just in front of their own 22. They'll look to find an answer to that score, that first score from Great Britain. They'll look to reply instantly.
Yeah, it's good to see GB. They're playing some good rugby there. They're chasing everything as well. So they've definitely come out with an intent to win this game and get as high up these rankings as possible. But Georgia will certainly not want them to do that, as we see them going into the wide channels with a beautiful floated pass.
Yeah, and they put on the afterburners, but Frostwick with the pace as well and dragging down the attacking Georgian. Oh, and the chase looked to be very, very good from Kurashvili. David Kurashvili seemed to have got there first. Whether he got the grounding or not will be the interesting point.
Yeah, the in-goal referee just liaising there. However, there seems to have been a knock-on by Kurashvili. Great chase, great kick through. It was him who gave the pass, the floated pass on over the top, going to the outside for his compatriot to make the break and put the kick in. But GB on their toes on this occasion once again to get back and snuffle out that attack.
Yeah, and that work in a backwards direction, so really, really important. They worked so hard to get the 7-point lead, and they worked hard to keep it. Now Owsley with a lot of space. Oh, and he throws an offload to Georgia. So transitioning into attack now, turning and accelerating. Another long pass out to the wings. A little bit of footwork just in front of the British defence, not really posing any great danger on that occasion. So Britain able to just shepherd over. Oh, and a great inside step, beating one. But once again, the offload just being forced slightly. And once again, Britain coming away. Lloyd Gilmore chasing and tackling. It was the kick from Kildun once more.
Release.
It's a penalty for Georgia, as Britain unable to release, just a little bit overly zealous there from Lloyd Gilmore, who thought he'd seen an opportunity.
Yeah, Owsley just trying his hardest there with a little one-handed pop inside. Maybe the cheeky Georgians are screaming in their perfect British accent there for the ball, and it landed in the hands of Ali Begashvili. However, GB chased them back, worked really hard to get to ensure that they didn't get a good break on there. But Georgia eventually get a little scrum in their own half, just outside their own 10-metre line there, in a prime position to attack down the left-hand side at pace and see if they can get a score before half-time.
That'll be the goal for them, and we see a change for Britain, an early change. Tom Burton comes on, replacing the centre Kildun. Burton will slot in at first receiver, and Shield will slide out into the centres.
Offside, back line.
Oh, Georgia once more with an offload that just goes astray, but it was an offside there. I think it was a new player, Burton, who was offside. So Britain motivated but not so disciplined at this moment. These penalties costing them possession on a couple of occasions, and that within the Georgian half as well. It's a 7-point lead, and a 7-point lead isn't much in sevens rugby. Georgia tap. And move. Oh, another unforced error from the Georgians. It's very uncharacteristic of them. Maybe just the early morning difficulties on their part.
Yeah, an unfortunate way for it to end that half for Georgia. They got themselves in a good position. I was just looking at players wide on both sides. They were using the 5 metre channels on both sides, and I think that was the aim, was to really stretch that GB defence on this occasion. But a slight handling error just meant that the ball goes to ground. Knock on would have been a scrum to GB, but half-time hooter had gone, and we go into the half-time period with GB leading 7-0 against Georgia.
Yeah, indeed we do, and the winner of this match will play then the winner of Germany against Portugal. Germany, obviously the winners of the Hamburg tournament. They're struggling a little bit more this weekend after they drew with Great Britain. That was the first little hiccup, and then they lost their next pool game as well, and that leaves them battling it out with Portugal. Like I said, the winner of this game will then go on to play the winner Germany v Portugal.
Yeah, this one's a tough one to call though. You know, who is going to win it? Both teams making silly little mistakes here and there. Both teams getting some great breaks as well. So it's another toing and froing up and down the pitch here. There's no obvious winner to this game at the moment, that's for sure. As you said earlier, Ian, it's 7 points lead for GB. It's nothing in this game that can be turned around in a matter of seconds. GB with the wind behind them in this half, although looking at the wind at the moment it is swirling a little and changing direction. It's not just how we've been used to it the weekend when it blows as we look out from left to right, so in the direction that GB will be playing. However, these teams I think will be seeing a lot of ball in hand, moving the ball into the wide channels, pulling it back again and just trying to spread defences to create some opportunities for speedsters such as Lloyd Gilmore or Shield to go through. And the same for Georgia. They'll be looking for their stars to be hitting gaps and getting through to try and get those points on the board as we see the second half go underway.
Frostwick with one of his classic contestable kicks. He's been doing them all weekend. A great boot on him, the wee man. And Georgia stepping and twisting and turning, hitting it up before they recycle cleanly. And a big hit in the centres from Great Britain. It was Murray Waugh again, so he's being a busy boy in this game. Lloyd Gilmore just pushed away unceremoniously there. Big physical fend from the Georgians. They release on the floor and regather as there was no real ruck coming in from the Brits. But they do get a penalty now. Lloyd Gilmore moves the ball to Frostwick. Frostwick steps back and looks to the right hand side before he does another change of direction through Tom Burton, throwing the missed pass to Owsley. And he steps off his left foot once, twice, a third time, throws another loose offload and puts his hands on his head. He knows that's two that he's thrown away, and that's just not really good enough at this level. Frustrated with himself more than anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of scissors moves in there, a lot of change of direction. I'm not a fan of it, but occasionally it does open up spaces. It does create the opportunity for people to go through if there's someone running from depth. But then we see Owsley there having to do a few stutter steps and a little bit of movement, so that loses momentum, I mean, he's a big powerful man, and if he can run straight and hard, he'll gain meters. However, Georgia are on top here, as it were, and they know how to control that defence when they see these guys running, as they now have ball in hand and are trying to get their own way out of the 22.
Yeah, and that was just a little bit loose there from Britain. They were trying to show some aggression, but they will get a yellow card on this occasion. You can't tip a player beyond horizontal, and if that does happen, you must bring him then down safely. You must return him safely to ground. It's not the case here. So Britain down to 6 players.
Yeah, that's frustrating, isn't it? It was Radcliffe there. He's had a good game so far, but he's just put his team under pressure now. Georgia will, I'm sure, exploit the gaps there. There's going to be a gap somewhere in the pitch as they're playing 7 against 6 and running at pace now.
Yeah, running at pace down the middle and offloading, keeping the ball alive. That's a lovely bit of ball handling there. The ball does bounce on the floor, but it comes up kindly and charging away for the try that might just get Georgia back in the game. We'll see if the conversion does level it up. But Georgia, that's what they needed after 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the second half. They're back in it.
Yeah, I'm sure Radcliffe will be sitting there annoyed with himself there after getting yellow carded and allowing Georgia to get into the game with a great bit of speed down the outside. And I think it is Reykjavashvili that was the one to get the dot down, a big powerful man. But the conversion not good, which keeps Britain in the lead by 7 points to 5, but still another minute and a bit on the yellow card. So Georgia will be looking to capitalise once more and try and get another point on there to take the lead if they can.
Yeah, I was just looking down at the naughty seat, and Radcliffe, when that try was scored, he had his head in his hands instantly. He knew what he'd done and the effect it's having on this game. Britain now with the ball though, and almost breaking through that challenge. Frostwick just being smart there and passing the ball against the back of the retreating player who was still in an offside position. Lloyd Gilmore in the middle, making good meters. And another penalty. Frosty will probably want to take this one quickly. He leaves it for Burton, who does. Back to Frostwick, and Frostwick to Kildon. Kildon out to Owsley. So a chance for him to redeem himself. He carries the ball into the 22 of Georgia, and Frostwick once more distributing. Back out to Murray Waugh. This time he loses possession. And there seems to have been a knock on. So Georgia will have the scrum. That's a signal from the referee. As we see two replacements for Great Britain taking to the field is number 7 Wells and number 1 Charnock.
Yeah, a little knock on from GB there, and Georgia got the turnover. They put the boot to ball, but unfortunately the Georgian player was in front of the kicker, which is why it's come back for the scrum here to Georgia in a promising position just outside their 22, big open side, but both teams now back up to 7.
Yeah, full complement of players on the pitch now. Georgia looking to jackal that, but it's a good ruck from Great Britain. If slightly slow, they get the ball free to Murray Waugh. Passes whack expertly inside to Wells. Frostwick recycles. Burton with a crossfield kick to Lloyd Gilmore. He just pirouettes around the last defender. Lovely bit of footwork and awareness and manipulation. Deceptive attacking rugby there from Lloyd Gilmore. Dens Britain's lead.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky there. Lovely kick though, but if we go back to the defence from GB there, they tried to hold the Georgian player up originally and then managed to rip the ball out, which is a great rip, and I think it was Wells, the sub, that came on and did it. Got a bit of go forward, moved the ball into wide channel, then a little bit of change of options was the kick out to Gilmore, who was a bit cheeky with the dummy play, and we saw at the end there the Georgian not happy. I'm sure there were some words exchanged, and Lloyd Gilmore got the touchdown. It was a really well worked try, and that keeps GB ahead in this game, 12 points to 5, but only one score in it. Still lots to play for with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, I loved how casual that finish was from Lloyd Gilmore. He does have his hands on his knees now, where he did just a second ago, so he's sucking in the air. George. We've got an offside from the kickoff. You don't see that blown up very often, although there's almost always a player who does advance ahead of the ball. Georgia with the ball in the middle of the park and grubbering. There's no sweeper, and he's backing his own pace. It looks to be a good call. Oh, it just won't sit up for him, and Lloyd Gilmore comes away with a little step, some footwork, and moving the ball onto Frostwick, who recycles once more. Great Britain looking in control of this now. Oh, the ball squirts out. I thought there might have been hands in that breakdown, but Georgia winning it fairly.
Knock on.
And knocking it on in the 22. So terribly unfortunate there. That was exactly the attack they needed. A converted try would level the game, and there's only just under 1 minute left to play here.
Yeah, that was a good option there from Jabova. Georgi Jabova there. That was a great idea. The bounce at the end there just bounced too high there, and he missed his attack. There was no one coming in behind from Georgia, so Lloyd Gilmore got his hands on it, managing to secure that ball, and eventually it comes to a scrum for GB. With 30 seconds to go, they want to see if they can hold on to this and advance down the field without coughing the ball up as a bad pass was thrown, and it's a little knock on. Frostwick complaining that it went backwards. However, in sevens you see anything like that, it's generally given as a little forward, knock forward. So Georgia getting one more bite at the cherry.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that, is it? It's an unforced error. The referee isn't going to pull out a ruler like I alluded to in the previous game. He's not got that in his pocket, so if it even looks like a knock on, he's got to give it. Georgia with the opportunity to tie things up here, and we might just see some extra time in this ranking semi-final. Yeah, offside there from Frosty, and the prop also breaking from the scrum too early, so Georgia once more knocking on the door. If they can keep hold of this ball and show some patience and some physicality, they should get over. That's your big man Kiriashvili. Moving the ball nicely to the outside. The missed pass looks to be good, and that... Oh, I think he just deliberately played back inside rather than scoring the wide channel because they know they need the conversion. He could have been in there, and they look to go in under the post, and they spill the ball. That will be the end of the game, so Georgia thrown caution to the wind, and just unfortunate, in the last moment when they look to be in under the sticks, the ball just evading the hands. It will not stick, and Great Britain come away victorious, 12 points to 5 in Split, Croatia. It's the ranking semi-finals, and Great Britain victorious. We move on then to Germany against Portugal.
Yeah, just going back to the end of that game there, as you said there, Ian, they were moving back inside to try and get closer under the post, and that's the risk-reward kind of thing that you take, isn't it? If you thought that he could go in, he probably could have gone in and scored. It would have been around the 15-metre channel with a heavy wind. Not an easy kick to make for the 2 points. However, they brought it back, and unfortunately just a little handling error at the end knocked it on, and we saw Frostwick pouncing it and kick the ball out of the park to say no, I need to stop now. As you said, gives them the opportunity to finish 5th or go into the ranking final against the winner of this next game, which will be coming up in just a moment.
Yeah, there we already see the squads being shown for you on screen, and the players do take to the field now. Germany in their white kit, and Portugal quite recognisable in their red, white and green. Two very experienced squads. Portugal like to keep the ball alive, like to play their offloads, technically very accurate the side. Watch out for Max Kutz. He'll be wearing his scrum cap, as he always does, with a number 11 on his back. He's a real live wire, and he'll be a thorn in the side for this Germany team, I'm sure. Portugal 5th in the overall standings, Germany 1st, but they won't be able to hold on to that this weekend. We will see a bit of a mix-up there, with both teams falling down the rankings potentially. And Portugal will kick us off, playing from left to right. A kick down the middle in front of Amakwedi, who rises well and taps it back to Gleitze. Koch, the experienced playmaker, plays the easy ball short to Amakwedi. There was no roll in that occasion, which is what made the jackal possible, so Germany now with the penalty. Good start to the game for Germany there, Andy.
Yeah, safe start, ball in hand, get a bit of contact, force an error from the Portuguese team there, who just decided to pop in from the side, as we see Hoofnagel kick the ball down towards us here, just outside the Portuguese 22. And we know this German line-out is generally very good. They'll go up in there, hold the ball for a second, drop it back down to Nicky Koch, who should be moving it out into the wide channels, but a bit of disruption from Portugal.
Indeed, and Nicky Koch unfortunately unable to keep the ball in play there. And just looking down the Germany replacement bench at the moment, Andy, and I can see Ben Ellerman is wearing flip-flops and a wife beater, so he does not look like he'll be playing today. The young man disappointingly out of the competition, so Germany on day 3 suffering from some injury.
Yeah, if I can maybe just correct you on your attire announcing there, it's definitely a vest top that he's wearing, isn't it? But yeah, it doesn't seem to be stripped and ready to play. So obviously some sort of injury. I'm sure we'll have a chat with him as we see Hayden Hahn bursting up the middle there for Portugal. A great little offload. Looks like it's gone to Diaz again, as they're piling on the pressure onto Germany here, but a forced mistake there just on the outside, which makes it a knock-on Germany ball.
Yeah, Germany ball deep within their own half. It's still a stalemate here, 0-0, 2 minutes of play. Both teams with a tidy set piece, so I'd expect Germany to win this one cleanly and maybe hit it up in the centres, as they quite like to do. That gives them the option of coming round the corner. We'll see what play they do deploy. Koch feeds. Hufnagel, Gleitze, they look to be attacking the outside shoulders, and Gleitze takes on the centre before Enika recycles and goes route 1, attacking the fringes. Amakuedi moving the ball back to Gleitze, and Gleitze plays the scissors with Koch, who receives the offload from Amakuedi, and Enika cleans that ruck before Koch recycles. Back to Amakuedi once more. He puts in the footwork, but Max Kutz was not to be fooled on that occasion, and Portugal in possession now in the 22 of Germany. Some off the ball kind of stuff there. I'm not sure what happened, but Amakuedi goes flying through the screen and it's a penalty here for Portugal. It was an offside. Costa for the line. Try time. Big number 3, Antonio Costa. Oh, wait 1 second. This is a try, Andy. Have I been a little bit premature in my call? What's the referee saying there? I think he has awarded it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was just sorting out a little argy-bargy, and what we saw was Amakuede just holding on to a player and taking offence to it, where the Portuguese, and quite rightly, just shoved him out of the way. I think Amakuede, to be honest, was disappointed in his last move. He couldn't break free from the Portuguese defence, and he just lashed out a little bit silly by the young man, but it gave the opportunity for Portugal just to go quickly and get Germany on the back foot. So hopefully they'll learn from that mistake and they'll just get on sides quickly, get themselves lined up. They're obviously frustrated at not progressing to the quarters and the semis, or progressing through to the semis I should say, and ended up in the rankings, but they've still got to play as if they want to win this game at the moment. Portugal looking like they are on top.
Yeah, they're on top as Max Kutz rises well to reclaim that kick-off as well. Portugal in control, but it's just a narrow lead. That can change very quickly. We've seen 4.5 minutes of play, so still enough time in this first half, and then a whole 7 minutes more. Portugal with a penalty, and they come away once more, charging down the middle, up the guts, and recycling. That's Costa with a little pop pass. Footwork coming in nicely from Hayden Hahn. And just a knock on there as Germany contest the ball. So if I'm reading that situation correctly, it will be a Portuguese scrum on the 5 metre line, and a great platform to attack from.
Yeah, I think you're correct there, Ian. I didn't quite see who knocked it on there, but what I'm really liking from Portugal at the moment is their reaction times. They're just not worried about all the nonsense that's going on the peripheries. They're just playing the rugby, moving the ball quickly, tapping and going, getting the Germans on the back foot in defence, and then this is their just rewards, is a scrum on the German 5 metre line. Lovely little between the legs pop up there into the hands of the number 7 Dural. Well played by Portugal.
Yeah, indeed, the 24-year-old bundles over the line for a score. That extends Portugal's lead, and we've got just over 1 minute until half time. So Germany will really need to secure possession from this kickoff and try and find an answer to all this pressure from the Portuguese. And their kickoff has been working really well for them, hasn't it, Andy? Max Kutz winning the ball in the air from the last one.
Yeah, we've been seeing it. Usually Diaz is their kicker. He's getting some great height in the ball, and Kutz is going up with that blue scrum cap that we're getting used to seeing a lot of, and gets his hands on the ball quite often. However, I mean, Germany, obviously we talked about Ellerman there. He's always been there for Germany to get up. He's got a great jump in him, but once again we see the jump from Kutz, but this time Nicky Koch is in a great position. And Chris Ume couldn't quite hold on to the ball, and there we see the frustration again of the Germans. Not happy that they've knocked it on. Maybe a couple of little words from the Portuguese just to rile them up a little bit, but they've got to calm down and settle down. There's only 2 scores in this game at the moment. They've really got to get some control back, because at the moment I would say Portugal are well in control of this game and just leading this game quite easily.
Well, they're definitely in control of the scoreboard at the moment with that 14-point difference. And we have had a change for Germany. They do this quite often. They'll take Amakwedi out in the first half. They brought on Bella Sinderman, and I assume they will bring Amakwedi in the dying stages again. That's a tactic that they use quite often. Kutz down the left-hand side for Portugal. Oh, and he runs between 2 defenders and steps in the outside. Gleitzer colliding with Hufnagel, and Max Kutz runs in unchallenged. That just confirms what you're saying, Andy, that Portugal are in control of things.
Yeah, that's a great play from Max Kutz there, just breaking from the right hand side to the left hand side. I thought it was going to be another little pop from the scrum half between the legs, but on this occasion just turned his back a little and put Max Kutz through a gap that didn't seem to be there, and he just accelerated, and as you say, a slight bit of indecision and collision between 2 players from Germany, just showing that the cohesion isn't quite there at the moment. We did speak to a few of these players last night. At the end of the day, they were very disappointed at the way that they'd played in the tournament, and obviously ending up in the rankings situation rather than in the main cup competition. And it feels to me at the moment that that's what's carrying on today. They're just, their head's not in it at the moment. And I think it's a job for the coaches here as well as the lead players to pull them out of this area and ensure that they start to play more like the team that we know they can play in the way that they played in Hamburg.
Yeah, interestingly, a couple of experienced players coming back into the squad this weekend in Henry Smeed, in Niklas Koch, and it just isn't gelling as well. Like, in theory, these guys coming back should up the performance, but maybe just that lack of continuity disrupting things slightly, Andy?
Yeah, quite possibly. That was a good settled team that they had in Hamburg, and they deserved the win. They played well. We talked about them keeping the tries at 0 for the group stages and all sorts. And we also talked about, Nicky Koch, for me, is a fantastic player. He's been around that squad for quite some time. He's very much a leader and a controlling factor within the team. But Eichholz, when he was in Hamburg, he seemed to be taking that mantle of the leadership role, and maybe the 2 of them playing together, maybe it's just not worked the way that they wanted it to, and maybe Eichholz is wanting or needing to be left to run things a little bit more. And Nicky Koch, is he fully fit? We don't know, but he's here playing, so I'm guessing that he's been given the all clear. He is in a position where he should be fit and ready to go, but for some reason the team aren't gelling. But it's not taken away from Portugal. Great defence there, as well as a great attack, as we just saw with that last try as the second half gets underway.
Yeah, the second half does get underway, and Germany are preparing some more replacements on the bench. Wiese just taking off his jersey, or his bib rather. So we're going to see the big man take to the field soon, I'm sure, as Hufnagel comes away from that penalty with the ball, running towards the try line. He was player of the tournament in Hamburg, had a fantastic performance there, and maybe can instigate something here in terms of a comeback. Sinderman. Hennick recycling with a wide pass, and Koch with a good 20 metres behind that one as well. We're straight out to the left hand side with Bennett File, who straightens and fends against the try scorer Max Kutz. Germany with another penalty, quickly taken by Hufnagel, and he's over under close attention for the Portuguese defence, but they cannot prevent the inevitable.
Yeah, this is more like the Germany we know. They move the ball down the right-hand side here. They've got Gleitze there with some great power, and the speed to the breakdown as well was much better. Enneke there getting the ball away to the far side, and we saw these big long passes from him, from Koch, and then Chris Ume just straightening up with his size. He tends to draw in a couple of defenders and eventually allows Hufnagel, after the penalty there, just to tap and go quickly, which is what he does really well. As we see the kick heading the post, but I think it bounced in and over. We couldn't quite see it for the pictures here. There we go, it did go over, so 19 points to 7 for Portugal.
Yeah, and that's the start for the second half that Germany were looking for, and that is the man Visa getting under that ball. I told you about him, he's just been brought onto the pitch for bent file. Hufnagel in the middle and being driven up in the air and backwards, and Portugal are able to capitalise on that and win the ball back. A heavy collision there, and Portugal come away with the ball. Good footwork, beating one, but Gleitze able to drag down the attacking player, and Kutz, quick hands, moving the ball into width. This could be an opportunity in the wide channel with Ume exposed slightly here, but the pass doesn't come. Another penalty for Portugal. They tap and go quickly. Germany back 10 metres now, so they are allowed to tackle. Oh, and another penalty. This could well be a yellow card. Oh, no. The referee is lenient on this occasion. I think the next one probably in this area of the park will be, Andy.
Yeah, I agree. I was indicating there that's a yellow card because he just dived at the ball as it came out of the ruck, and Nicky Koch just asking the opinion of the referee of what it was for, and full explanation given. So good communication between referee and player there. So not a problem there. But again, Portugal just going quickly. It was Couto, the big number one. Once again, the tap and go. He's just got power. He's a big unit, over 2 metres tall, and he's just pumping his legs and knocking this German defence backwards each time. And again, reaping the rewards there from 2 penalties. They're in the German 22. They've got a scrum. They've got players on both sides. They've got the speedster Max Kutz here with his lovely blue scrum cap on this side, really spreading that German defence at the moment.
And another change for Germany. Daniel Enneke takes to the bench and Cedric Eichholz is on. And this inside step is well executed by Portugal. They're in for the try. Portugal not happy with the fact that Chris Ume slid in with his feet first. It looked more like a football World Cup kind of action from him. And the reaction from the Portuguese players is a bit football. Reminds me a little bit of football as well.
Yeah, but let's be honest there, Christian. I mean, no need for that in the game. That's just sliding in with his feet. He is frustrated. He was frustrated yesterday. That was a good try from Hayden Ham there. Just a show and go, just knocking Nicky Koch back on his butt cheeks there, and sliding in under the post there. Just Chris Ume obviously disappointed, obviously unhappy about the way his team have played this weekend. However, we need to get away from that. They need to sort themselves out a little bit. This Portuguese team showing that they're well on top as they start to make changes, as we see Max Kutz coming off there, Couto coming off there. They're taking a rest, well-deserved rest. This certainly doesn't weaken this Portuguese team. They're a strong team. They're going to go on and win this game, I would say. I can't see Germany coming back from this at the moment, Ian.
No, I can't, but I don't like to speculate either because I normally get it wrong, Andy. But a change as well. Henry Smeed coming on for Germany. So fresh legs on both sides. And Smeed does recycle that ball. Ume now, with all the power in the world, just running forward with 3 Portuguese players hanging on to him. Hufnagel, little fend and a little pass. That is knocked on. It's a deliberate knock on from Portugal. They're going to go down to 6 players here. I mean, I don't believe it was intentional, but by letter of the law, it's classed as deliberate here. And Nicky Koch snaps back to the right-hand side. Some space for Sinderman, but he loses footing on one of the more worn parts of the park. Eichholz now. There's an offside, so Germany with the opportunity. Eichholz going quickly.
Yeah, that's good speed of play here from Germany. They're really capitalising here on the man down and getting the go forward. There's spaces on this field here, if they can get the ball into these channels. And we saw Chris Ume earlier on with doing what he can do, much better way of dragging in players, and there we go, it's into the wide channels once more. There has to be a space opening up here. 4-on-3. Nicky Koch going in under the post. I'm sure he'll tap down and take a quick kick and try and get back into this game again.
Yeah, they've only got 1.5 minutes left to play. That does keep them in the fixture, but it's going to be very difficult from here. Hufnagel adds the extra, and Germany will need to get on with this as the clock is ticking and the game is slowly slipping away from them.
Time off.
Yeah, still, two scores. I do have Portugal down to win this. I don't think that Germany can come back, but there is time. If they can get underneath this ball, it's still 6 players on. Or if they got their 7th back on, so he's still off the field. Still off the field, so there's still a bit of time with the 6 players. They need to get this ball in hand. However, Portugal are coming away with that once a good win. They'll slow the ball down a little bit, and beautiful handling skills getting into the wide channel. Looks like a double roll. Bench calling for it, but the referee not giving it, as we see Portugal powering up the middle.
Oh, and they spill that ball.
Yeah.
Spilling that ball forward, an important moment. But it's just too little too late for Germany now. They do have a 12-point deficit. They need 2 scores, and there's only 30 seconds left in the clock. As fast-paced as Sevens rugby may be, that's just a little bit too much to ask for here. This scrum is going to eat up most of the remaining seconds. Portugal also being quite smart and setting up very slowly as the yellow-carded player returns to the field. That just ate up a couple of seconds as well before the referee stopped the clock. Koch feeds. Under pressure at the back, that was offside, quite clearly so, but once more that just eats up seconds. That was Diaz just messing around with the ball as well, so there's another yellow card. The referee didn't like the time wasting from Portugal.
Yeah, that's fairly obvious time wasting. The referee certainly understood what was going on, and Diaz even got a cheeky wee smile on his face there, knowing exactly what he was doing, but this won't make much difference to the end score. Just a bit of pride for Germany.
And Visa streaks down the middle, trying to offload to Koch. And Koch through the legs, looking for Ume. Ball bouncing and bobbling and falling forward from a Portuguese hand. That will be the end of the fixture. That will be the end of this ranking semi-final. Portugal are victorious, despite receiving 2 yellow cards along the way. A very controlled performance from them, and they'll look to emulate the 5th place that they got in Hamburg. Disappointment for Germany after they won the tournament in Hamburg on home soil. It was a great result for them, and there was a real energy around the setup after that. So they looked very deflated here, and they were starting to focus on a possible European Championship crown that they haven't had since, I think it was 2019, Andy.
Yeah, I'm sure those stats are correct, but let's take nothing away from Portugal. I felt that Portugal were the dominant team there. They came out firing. They looked like a team that wanted to win this. They played like a unit. They attacked Germany. They defended really hard and got in there to win turnovers. They had another look about them that they wanted it a little bit more. German team, well, quite as cohesive as we've seen in the past, but great work from this Portuguese outfit. I think that they deserved that win at the end of the day, and they'll go on to try and get themselves a 5th place finish, which would be great for them, take them up the rankings a little bit. Then they, at the moment, are currently sitting 5th after Hamburg, so they'll be adding a few extra points to try and climb themselves up into the top 4 and possibly even a medal position as well, Ian. However, we will now move on to the next game.
Yeah, back in action, another German team. From the German men to the German women, we have Ireland against Germany. in the semi-finals of the Women's Cup competition. So this is the real big money end. We see an Ireland team that is much improved on Hamburg. They've been looking very dangerous with players like Evie Higgins, Megan Burns, O'Connor and the likes. Really thorns in the side of their opponents. And here we see the Germany squad as well, getting the best result of any German women's team on the championship series. There was a period not all that long ago that they were relegated to the trophy, had to fight to get back up into the championship, and they were going from strength to strength under the watchful eye of coach Curtis Bradford, previously gathering coaching experience with the Austrian national setup before moving over to Germany, and he seems to be doing great work with this team who will play in white, running from left to right, and they have their work cut out here, don't they, Andy? Ireland, slight favourites maybe?
Yeah, I think on paper you've got 5th against 6th, which is a great matchup. However, Ireland have certainly proven themselves in this tournament to be an outstanding team, and I think that you're right, that they are definitely going into this as favourites. However, the celebrations yesterday from Germany were excellent. Never having reached this level before, I'm sure they've come out today thinking, what else can we do, as we see Julia Braun kicking off for Germany in this semi-final match.
Yeah, and Ireland with the ball, charging up the park with the first attack, dragged down just before the halfway line. You can see already a real intensity to this fixture, real intent from both sides of the ball, and Julia Braun just falling off one tackle, and that was McInerney getting the hands free for the offload, and Ireland looked to be scampering away for the first try, but dragged down 10 metres out. On Germany with a big play through Hennig, and they do get a penalty for that jackal effort.
Yeah, that was good chase back there from Hennig, and I think, was it Johanna Hacker, I think, as well. The two of them working hard, as we saw the Germany defence being stretched a little bit, but they scrambled back to get into position, made a lovely little tackle on Emily Lane, who had broken free. But yeah, Germany are definitely up for that, which is good. However, good power from Ireland to break from their own half into the German 22.
Yeah, like I said, a real intensity, a real intent from both sides in the early exchanges here. Good footwork in the centres. Keeping hold of the ball well. Hennig gathers the loose ball. Adler, Hacker straightens it up and just takes a challenge to Fitzpatrick. Simat on the scissors play with Steffi Gruber, and they recycle well. Once more, that in real pace from Hennig. She's a quick lady, and she's showing it here, but chased down by Kathy Baker. Adler to recycle. Simat. Steffi Gruber, a stalwart of this German side. She's been around for a long time. Really great to see her being rewarded for her longevity with this weekend's results.
Yeah, I'm led to believe it's her 30th tournament for Germany, so very much a stalwart of this team. Loving the fact that she's made it to this position, but we want to see more out of her. We want to see her get into the final as Ireland play quickly, get it into the hands of Fitzpatrick. She's been clung to by Hennig once more. Ricky Hennig there just going to ground. Ireland playing the ball quickly. They have got great recycling there as we see the power coming through from McInerney to go over for the first score of the game.
Yeah, McInerney, she's a real powerful runner, isn't she? And she was the one that turned up with the jackal. It wasn't a completely clean jackal as the referee awarded the penalty, but it was her that started that, and it was her who finished it. Alana McInerney, take a bow.
Yeah, Ireland played most of this game in the Germany half to start with here, so Germany under a bit of pressure against this strong Irish team, as we see Eve Higgins just popping that 2 points over as well. Germany playing some good stuff though as well. It's not just because they're in their own half doesn't mean that they're not settling nicely. It's early days yet, and they haven't had too much opportunity to stretch the legs. as we see the kick-off coming from Eve Higgins.
Yeah, they actually looked to be controlling possession quite nicely, didn't they, Andy? And then it was McInerney that came in with that turnover, and that changed everything in a second. But Germany now with the ball, and if they can keep building like they did before, I'm sure they'll get their chances here. That is a knock-on though, so once again Ireland do come up with the ball, and it'll be the team in green that control possession all of a sudden in these early exchanges.
Yeah, good defence from Germany there. I saw Simmet coming in there as the ball gets moved out into the hands of Fitzpatrick, but it was just a floated forward pass there. But lovely play from Simmet there. She just closed everything down, jumped up like a koala bear, and snuffled out that attack from Ireland in the midfield, giving her teammates time to scramble the defence out wide.
Yeah, absolutely a terrific play on both sides of the ball. It will be a German scrum in the 22 metre here, their own 22 metres. So a full length of the pitch to go, or just about. And we're off. Through Simmet, who goes route one, and Hennig to recycle to Brown, and Brown playing the grubber for Johanna Hacker to chase. But Ireland not fazed by that. They have speed of their own and they work back hard to regain possession. The offload is good, and the scissors play here on an inside ball to Higgins. Germany looked to contest that and very nearly getting the ball. It was a clean turnover, I think, by Hennig, but then she just lost the ball again.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. I think she's asking the referee exactly that question. I felt she had won the ball there, and then the Irish player came in from the side, but referee obviously deeming there was a little knock-on in there, so great work from Ricky Hennig there. I wasn't too sure about the kick from Julia Brown there. I don't know why, again, that she put that in. It didn't feel that Johanna Hacker was up flat enough for the kick to chase. She was maybe expecting the ball into the 15-metre channel, and that just turned over a ball to Ireland, who came back into this area where the scrum is about to occur.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Andy. It was a funny decision. I mean, Ireland weren't really pushing up that hard in defence either, and if you see a team rushing up, you might be able to catch them off guard, but Fitzpatrick was hanging back a wee bit, and that kick was always going to be hers. But anyway, Hennig working really hard. She got the turnover, but just not enough here. She knocked it on then, under pressure, and Ireland have the scrum in a really good attacking position, wide on the left side, just in front of the German 22. Nice little play. It's an absolute classic, and they move it out to Fitzpatrick. That was sweet as you like from that set play.
Yeah, that was just too simple, was it? Unfortunately, I think Hennig's been put into the centre because Meta Zimmet has just come off, and maybe a little bit of inexperience in that position, in that centre position. We've seen her play wide, we've seen her play in the half-back position, but on that occasion it was just she followed the player inside on this scissors line rather than holding her line outside for anyone that was coming round, and a massive gap opened up for Ireland to go through for their second try of the day.
Yeah, there's a reason they say that centre is the most difficult position to defend. You're watching multiple players, and if you commit too early, you might just open up a gap for one of the attackers. Here we see Fitzpatrick scampering over the line, simple as you like, dotting down and extending the lead. 20 seconds left to play in the first half, Andy, and then we will have a bit of a break here as Evie Higgins gets underway.
Yeah, well taken by Julia Brown there as they start to move the ball into the wide channels, doing what they know they can do, and Sophie Hacker taking it up, but dealt with by Higgins, and I think it was Lane there, just snuffling her out as we see also a lovely Jacqueline there, but unfortunately there was no roll away from the tackler. Sophie Hacker goes quickly, just looking for probing the gaps there, see what she can find. Good speed to the breakdown. Ireland managing to slow it down a little bit here as they now come back into the wide channels.
Yeah, terrific defence here from Ireland, isn't it? They're putting real pressure on the German attack. They're staying tight, they're staying connected, shifting well together and snuffing out the attack. Oh, look at that, ripped strongly by Fitzpatrick in the tackle. And they have the opportunity to move the ball wide here. They might have a bit of space. O'Connor trying to get in the outside shoulder, but Germany do hold well in defence. So Ireland being rewarded there for great work in defence with the ball, and another opportunity to extend their lead before half-time. The hooter is sounded, so we're in overtime here. And Ireland do scamper in. It's McInerney for a second. What a performance she's having.
Yeah, that was a great team effort there from Ireland. There was some good defence from Germany. They worked hard. We saw Hennick and Hacker combining there to slow Ireland right the way down, but Ireland just built the phases again. But going back to that ripped ball, unfortunately Novotny, she just got the ball in one hand, and these Irish players, I think you said it in commentary, it was Fitzpatrick, just picked her pocket, ripped that ball out there, got the turnover. So Germany seeing that they need to be careful in those possessions. They can't just walk in as if they're going to win everything. They need to be strong in everything that they do. But Ireland certainly in control of this game at the moment as we go into the half-time huddles.
Now, once again, Andy, you're the real expert when it comes to this German women's team. You know them much better than I do. Who's on the bench? Who can they bring on that might bring an impact to the game at this point and help them to reduce this deficit? Do they have anyone they can call on?
Absolutely, there's strength and depth across that whole bench, and I'm pretty sure you'll see them all being used. And Zimmert's come off already once, and she'll be going back on the field. You can almost guarantee that. Maybe not straight away at half time, but certainly within the 3-minute period, she'll be back in the fray again, ready to go. We've seen Charlotte Malatier, their fantastic kicker. If we're looking to get some height, I say if Germany are looking to get some height in this ball, she's the type of player that you can bring on and control the game and put the ball in the right positions. But it's really speed that they need at the moment, because Ireland are so fast to everything that we need to get somebody on the outside channels, the likes of Adler. She's got real gas. Hacker, if she is on her top game there, she's got some real gas, both Sophie and Johanna. But we need to get them into positions where they can do that, and at the moment they're not quite finding those positions. However, the defence has been excellent. I mean, Ricky Hennick has been absolutely immense in defence, just chasing down everything. It looks like she's going to get a little rest at the moment.
Yeah, just a follow-up question there. I mean, because you're talking about Germany struggling to get into the right positions. Is that down to the Irish defence? Because that's the picture I'm seeing, that they're just so controlled in defence that that's snuffing out the German attack before it gets going.
Absolutely. I mean, Ireland have been immense. Let's take nothing away from them. We're, again, slightly biased with us living in Germany. But however, the power plays that the Irish have got, the speed and strength they've got across the board. We're seeing a kick from Eve Higgins on the money. She's not missed many kicks today or put any kicks in the wrong position. So they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. And I can't see Germany coming back and beating them, because I think that the power that Ireland have, the cohesion they have, and the teamwork that they're bringing today is just too much. And they're deserved 17-0 leaders at the moment, as we see the ball going into the wide channels, with Germany looking to bring it back again as they get the penalty.
Yeah, we've seen changes in half-time for both sides. Ireland have brought on Faith Obiawa on the right-hand side of the park here. You see her wearing number 13, just going out of picture now. And if I'm not mistaken, Simmett has also returned to the field for Germany, as you alluded to in the half-time break.
Okay, next up.
She seems to be carrying some strapping, and that's why I wasn't quite sure if it was her, Andy, because she didn't have that strapping yesterday.
No, she had that one on yesterday. I'm not sure about day one, but definitely yesterday she had it on there. But we spoke to them yesterday as well. There's no pain. There was too much happiness with her, so there was no pain yesterday, that's for sure. It doesn't look like she's carrying too much of an injury, maybe precautionary, or just to look good, as the rugby players like to do sometimes. However, from that scrum there, we've got Ireland ball, and they're looking to move it out to the channels through Eve Higgins, who's decided otherwise to take it up, just as I spoke about that. But look at the speed to the breakdown there, that's excellent.
Yeah, that was Faith Obiawa getting stuck in there as a supporting player, and Ireland attacking the outside shoulder as well, freeing up Fitzpatrick. She steps inside once and is well defended by a combination of Sophie Hacker and Mette Zimmat. But Ireland really knocking on the door now, and they look to be in. They are Kathy Baker possibly?
Yeah. I think that was Baker there. That was great work. I mean, but that's the speed and the reaction time of Ireland. You know, the speed to the breakdown to secure that ball. And I think Germany are quite quick. They're actually playing very well. However, that extra half second that Ireland have just seems to secure ball much more quickly, and then the other players can bounce out to get into position really quickly to be able to receive ball there. And yes, I think it was Baker there that went on over for that score.
Yeah, what a cracking tournament she's having, Andy, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen her come on a few times. She's not started every game by any means. I think that's her just taking a rest at the moment as we see her coming off down below us. But yeah, there's so much talent in this Irish team. They can pull players on and off as much as they want, and it doesn't seem to disrupt their team on this occasion. In Hamburg, they didn't reach their full potential, finishing 6th and maybe not playing the way that they wanted to. But on this occasion, I think we're going to see them in the final there, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in that final. Yeah,
they seem to have full control of this fixture as Germany do retain the ball once more though from that kick-off. 3 minutes of play here in the second half already. Germany once more struggling to get out of their own half, pinned back in their own 22 even here, as we see Gruber looking to use all her physicality up against Fitzpatrick. Simmet with the change in direction with Sophie Hacker in combination. I believe they play together at club level as well, so they know each other well. As Germany get the penalty and play quickly. Simmet, ball in one hand, pointing and weaving, and once more pointing for the scissors. Johanna Hacker, Julia Brown, back on the inside and then on the outside. That's a lovely little interchange here before Faith Oriawa makes a tackle on Hacker. Brown going down the blind side, followed by Zimmet. And the German player Johanna Hacker seems to have a bit of pain, so she stayed down. Back up on her feet now, but not moving all that freely. As we see the attack continue through the experienced veteran Steffi Gruber. 30th tournament this weekend at 37 years of age. That is some numbers for a sevens athlete.
Come on now, 29 years of age, that's all Steffi is. Everyone knows that. She's just a youngster, but very much experienced, as we saw there with trying to hold the ball up. Just a little high tackle there. I don't think it was malicious, so there's no yellow card, but it was a little high, as she got a little isolated out there as they tried to move the ball into the wide channels, and lots of changes getting made here by both teams as the energy's been sapped in this relentless game. However, Germany have a scrum inside the Irish half. Got a good opportunity to launch as we see another teammate of Steffi Gruber there, Laura Schwinn, coming on into the first receiver position. We've already got Malatier on. As we said, she's got a lovely boot on her and a lovely bit of control there. She'll tap and go here, as she does. Get the ball out here into the channels. Not the best of passes. Need to move it a little quicker. Get the ball out in front. As Simmet changes direction once more, heading it back to the far right-hand side.
Yeah, back to the right-hand side they go, and they look to attack the blind side once more. The Irish defence just staying very well organised as ever. Shifting hard now to cover Gesina Adler. She wins a one-on-one against Faith Oriawa, but then she's smashed in the tackle by Corrigan, who forces a knock-on. So Katie Corrigan, the new player on the park, she's just come on and having an immediate impact in the defensive play.
Yeah, remember in that last game, Corrigan was immense, wasn't she? I think she scored one under the post there and created one for her teammates McInerney as well. We were talking about the power there, but on this occasion Adler just went down the outside and just ran out of a bit of space. I think she should have really gone with the contact. Laura Schwinn was on the inside there, and by the time she stepped back in towards it, we're so close, and tried to give an offload, and it wasn't going to be, as we see the changes on the Germany bench. Coaches making those changes give these players experience at this level. They can say they've played in a semi-final in European tournament, so all players are getting some game time. Sarah Gossman up there just making the hit as Joy Witherspoon comes in there to try and win the ball, but Ireland strong and just take the ball going forward once more.
Yeah, I'm just very impressed by the control of this Irish team with ball, without the ball. And that's also a new, a fresh player on the park. That's Uguero wearing the number 5 who hit it up in the middle. Fitzpatrick gathers a bouncing ball and we're off to the races up to the 10-metre line now. And another good jackal for Germany. It's Weatherspoon this time, so they win the penalty.
Yeah, I'd love to see Germany get a try in here. 30 seconds to go. We'd love to see them just get over that line. But you can see a lot of them are out on their feet at the moment. They've been working hard. But once again, an infringement by Ireland.
Yeah, that gives Germany the opportunity to attack once more. Boot to ball. Looks to be a nicely played kick, nicely weighted kick, but it just had a funny little bounce there and evades it on running. Was it Sophie Hacker? I'm not quite sure, but definitely the kick dribbles over the in goal, and it'll be a scrum from where the kick was made to Ireland, and they will see out this game without conceding a single point, Andy. So the first of these Women's Cup semi-finals will be decided with this last play.
Yeah, Germany a little unlucky. I could see what they were trying. It is the last throw of the dice, isn't it? Putting the kick through for Sophie Hacker, but unfortunately Ireland too strong, too powerful, too quick. They're not getting there, and as you say, I suspect that we will see this ball get kicked out of the park. If it's not by the scrum half, then it'll be by the first receiver. But Germany putting the pressure on. That's fantastic work. Let's tap and go. Let's move this ball. There's 3 on 2 if they can get out there quick enough. Put it into Gesine Adler's hands here as Simmet makes that pass. Germany setting up on the near side here now.
Yeah, the space for Sophie Hack on the wide left if they can get the ball there, but Adler goes down the narrowest of channels, flirting with the touchline, and is bundled out into touch. So Ireland victorious in the first of the women's semi-finals of the cup competition. They will progress and face the winner of the coming game between Spain and Poland. Congratulations to Ireland. They have looked to be going from strength to strength as the tournament progresses. Incredibly impressive defence and doing the job here in Split. It was a long old game, so there's no rest here. Poland and Spain are already on the park for the second of these cup semi-finals. It's match 28 of the women's competition. Poland against Spain. Poland will be wearing their red kit once more. We saw them yesterday in their all black attire, but they're back to their classic red, and Spain in their change white with dark blue shorts. Maria Lattis of Germany in the middle, relaxed as ever. She's always got a smile on her face. And Poland get us underway through Drzyzgala. Heavy collision there. Looked to almost be high, but it was on the chest. So play on. But that's hurt the Spanish player who just takes a knee, and her teammates are working hard down the right hand side, mounting a great attack here. Moving the ball well, recycling, trying to stay away from that contact area that Poland do compete so hotly. And Spain looking good in these opening exchanges, controlling possession in the first 30 seconds, moving the ball wide now. And they do find a little gap with that show and go. It says Miranda Morales to get us off the mark in the second of the cup semi-finals. She waits, she's not being put under pressure, so she'll take her time before touching down.
And the first round of the match goes to Spain.
She's smiling. A little exchange of words between the Polish and Spanish players, and that's lovely to see that they get on so well that despite the try they can have a wee laugh together. And to convert her own try, it is Miranda Morales. extending the lead to 7 points after almost 1.5 minutes of play. And the player from Spain had gone down in back play, but they're all up again on their feet and moving freely. So Spain unfazed by that initial big hit. Ball fielded well by Klachowska in the number 7. She's got a few tries today. Not today, sorry, this weekend. And Poland attacking from deep. Uncharacteristic inaccuracy in that offload. And now we have a Polish player down in backfield. So Poland playing with 6 at the moment. And they just keep it tight. Using their physicality against the slightly smaller Spanish team before releasing a kick as no sweeper was back. And it's chased by Paszczyk of Poland, who regathers beautifully on the 22 and charges towards the try line. She's in the corner, and Poland reply almost immediately, reducing the deficit to only 2 points now, and the conversion is still to come.
First try to Poland. Scoreboard number 6.
On you go, Andy. I'm all ready.
So I'm here with Chisholm Aguera. Congratulations. How does it sound to you to be a finalist in split sevens?
It sounds amazing. Like, you know, this would be my first time ever being in the final for sevens. So it's just something we're really going to go after today, and hopefully we get the win. All the girls are so happy, and we're all so proud of ourselves. And yeah, just really excited. You know, Hamburg didn't really go our way, so this is our chance to kind of prove ourselves and just show what we have on the pitch.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you were 6th in Hamburg. Now we're going to be a top 2 here. That's much better for you. Is there anything in particular you were working on over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, so the girls that were playing in the World Cup Six Nations, they all came in to help out and everything, and we've just been trying to pull all our sessions together, and like the team has changed a little bit, and just with the help of the girls as well, they bring in their superb talent, and it's just amazing to have them on the team. Really pushes us to play the best we can play.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you in the final. Is there any words you'd like to say to anyone back home?
I want to give a massive shout out to my family, the Aguero family, and all the UL Bows girls down in Limerick. Woo!
Congratulations, all the best for the final. Thank you.
So thanks for that, Andy. What a lovely little interview there. Great to see such energy from the Irish camp. And Poland now in a good position to extend their lead. They're camped out on the 22 of Spain. Going from strength to strength here. But that ball just knocked out of the hands, and it's gone forward in the tackle from Spain, so it'll be another scrum to Poland. No advantage being allowed to come there by Maria Latos, because the forward pass was made by Poland as well. And Poland in a great position. They'll love the prospect of a wide scrum. Sajsluch takes her place on the wing. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them trying to get the ball into her hands. Oh, they tried to go up the guts first and spill the ball in the collision. The ball just not sticking, and Spain transitioning into attack really well. A little bit of footwork there from Camacho Ruiz before they move the ball back down into the 15-metre channel. And recycling quickly, but the Polish defence up really hard. And that's forcing Spain to move backwards. They're controlling possession well, but not really making any territorial gain against a well-organised Polish defence. Looking for an opportunity in the wide channels, and they do burst up to the 22. We're seeing the Polish coaches here. I'd rather see the game, thank you. We're back to the action. And Spain with a midfield ruck once again coming down the left-hand side. Slight inaccuracy in the offload, so the Polish defence working very hard, and after phase upon phase they are rewarded with a scrum, and once more attacking on the 22 line of Spain. It's 7 points to 5 with about half a minute left to play in the first half.
Yeah, Ian just done a little interview with the Irish team there. Chisholm Aguero, absolutely delighted to get to the final. Not really too bothered about who she plays in the final, just wants to get a good game for her team in there. But watching some of this game as I was coming back up the steps, this is a 50-50 game at the moment.
Yeah, it really is, Andy. It's anyone's game to. We're seeing Poland really managing to pin Spain back, so Poland with a territorial advantage, but possession must be pretty much 50-50 at this stage.
Yeah, let's hope that kick doesn't come into play at the end for Poland, as it goes at 7-5 at the moment, as we see them attacking down that left side through Zauslich again.
Yeah, that was Druzgala onto Zauslich, and they're a couple of really dangerous players. They combine so well. Klitschowska, we've seen what she can do as well. Real physical, but fast as well. Pamieta with the ball, just stepping away from the pushing Spanish defence. And Poland will not go away. They're camped out on this 22-metre line, looking for opportunities. The Spanish working so hard, but this will take its toll on their fitness, I think. It's not easy to defend so long. Druzgala moving the ball onto Zauslich again. She breaks one tackle. Caught by the scrambling Garcia Gala. And scragged into touch. That was Pasczyk looking for her second, but just getting a little bit too close to that touch line. I think the half was just going a little bit long, and she thought, let's go for broke here. And she went for the corner, but bundled into touch.
Yeah, Poland were doing quite well. They were obviously just trying to get all their players back into play, because we saw, I think it was Pamieta and maybe Druzgala were on the ground. They couldn't get them back onto their feet, so they were just dancing around a little bit, allowing them time to get up. However, they went down the short side with Pasczyk, and unfortunately she got bundled into touch. But from a Spanish point of view, great defence, not allowing the pace and the power of the Polish to run at speed. They were just making them dance a little bit, and eventually putting them into a position where they probably didn't want to be, and then forcing them into touch at half time. All to play for here. Spain 7, Poland 5. I'm interested to see or hear what the coaches would be saying and the senior players would be saying to each team, because we just mentioned it there. It's a 50-50 game. Nobody's really on top as such at the moment. Both teams defending well at times, both teams attacking well at times. No one getting a strong foothold to take control of this game. This will be a great battle right to the end, I suspect, and whoever wins this one will be taking on Ireland, who are awesome at the moment in my opinion, and I think that will be a great game to watch as well. So both teams here will be hoping not to go to extra time to sap the legs or anything silly like that. They'll want to be ready for the final, whoever gets through.
Yeah, the prospect of either of these two teams taking on Ireland is really a good one. I think that's going to be a very evenly matched final. We've seen Spain really going through the gears in this competition, not peaking too early in the group stage, and I think we'll still see the best from them yet. This game really could take its toll on both sides, though. It's a real stalemate at the moment, only 2 points different, Andy.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, the fact that it's now into Cup rugby. It's win or lose, so you want to peak at this kind of time and peak for each of these games so you can get your way right to the top of the tree, and that seems to be what Spain are doing, just building as we get the second half underway, with unfortunately a kick that doesn't go 10, which will hand back possession to Poland in the middle of the field.
Yeah, we've not seen much of that today, these miscued kicks. It's pretty much perfect conditions, and the kickers really have been on point. Spain will be slightly disappointed with that, as they struggle to find territorial advantage in the first half, and this could just give Poland the upper hand at the start of the second half as well. As they break down the left hand side, over into the 22 with Zauslich, and it'll be the first try right at the start of this second half. Poland's second of the game, extending the lead to 10 points to 7. Conversion to come. Druzgala will look to just kick this ball between the sticks and compound Spain's woes early doors.
Yeah, that was great power and pace there from Ilona Zajslic there, just powering down the outside there. We saw a little dance at the end as well, as we see the kick going between the posts. That's a beautiful strike of the ball. That's probably one of the best strikes of the ball we've seen all competitions from Druzgala there. Confidence high at the moment, as we said, with a little dance after the score. Confidence with a kick to go through the middle. Poland certainly started this second half full of a pizzazz. Let's hope that they can keep it going. However, Spain will have something to say about that.
Yeah, it's not over yet. That try was conceded so early in the half that anything could still happen. But that was the worst possible scenario for Spain. They've conceded a penalty. It will be a scrum. So I always reckon, Andy, any error is okay. Even conceding a try is okay, as long as you follow it up with a little win.
Absolutely, yeah. On this occasion there, the kick was really high again. It's a great bit of height in it. Unfortunately, Spain rising high, getting to it, but the little knock on into one of their own players, which is why it was a penalty, because they're offside, giving Poland the opportunity to take a tap or a scrum, and it's a scrum on this occasion, which they move away quickly into the wider channels.
Yeah, and again, attacking wide, right, very well through Captain Pamieta, attacking the outside shoulder. She gets onto Zajslic. Zajslic in for number 2. She was on the short list for player of the tournament in Hamburg, and I'm pretty sure she'll be back on that short list again here today.
Yeah, lovely play from a steady scrum there, and we're just seeing the number 7 from Poland there, Kliczkowska, telling everyone just to calm down. They're getting a bit excited. We're seeing Zajslic with her little dance at the end there again. This game is nowhere near won, that's for sure. We need to be very careful as the kick just bounces off the post, I think, there. Making the score 17 points to Poland, 7 to Spain.
Yeah, funny that you mentioned that one player saying calm down, and Zajslic, who we know so well, she's always got a smile on her face and she loves a wee celebration, doesn't she?
Absolutely, but again, I just want to point out the footwork and pass that came from Pamieta once more was fantastic to allow Zajslic to go in for that score, as we see a kick going up in a really good position once more. However, on this occasion, Kliczkowska couldn't quite get the ball back to her teammates, and it bounces into touch for a Spanish line-out.
Yeah, she rose brilliantly there, but the slap back just not quite working out, and Spain will have to come from deep now if they want to turn this game round. It's not over yet, 17 points to 7, but Pamieta once more, the captain, with another good fend, and again on the outside, stepping back inside with the footwork, with the offload, another offload, and under the post for the next try. It is Druzgala, another one of these wonder women from Poland.
Yeah, she was another one that was on the short list in Hamburg for player of the tournament as well, and those are the reasons why. But she's been put into those positions by her teammates. That was some great footwork from Pamieta to start with. We've talked about her a lot, and she must be in line for it as well. She's been I wouldn't say she's a hidden hero, because she's been out in the forefront of things. She's just doing what she does really well and putting her teammates into positions. However, they're getting into those positions for the offloads. They're getting into positions where Poland can make those one-handed passes, and on this occasion it's for Druzgala going over for her own converted try.
Yeah, and some changes coming in here for Poland as well. They've got fresh legs on the park. It's number 8, Krysiak, and she's a real danger woman as well. She's taken to the field. So Spain really, really struggling here, and they do make a break. Streaking away, it is number 10, Blanco Hortiguero Pedrero, breaking just on the 22 and stepping back inside, evading the tackles. Just lacking the legs to make it all the way. But this is a territory and possession that they need. Oh, maybe getting caught there at the back of the breakdown. But there is a penalty. No roll from the tackler. And Spain with the opportunity here to attack. They keep possession well, and Gortazar Valverde with the carry. She's wearing a scrum cap today. You don't always see that. Ball recycled well, but the pass was poor, and Zajsluch capitalises on the handling error. She's supported by Klitschowska. Klitschowska proving a point more than anything else. I'm on your shoulder if anything does happen. I've got your back.
Yeah, Spain just not quite being able to find the way through this defence. They've got a player down, which is not great for them, unfortunately, just on the near side. However, it was interesting to hear the coaching staff from Poland. They're screaming at Klitschkowska earlier to get back into the line. They're working hard for each other. They want the whole team working hard for each other. So I think she had a point to prove, getting up there to support her teammate Zajsluch when she scored. And we're seeing the Spanish player getting up off the ground, which is good news. However, the bandage over the nose. She's just been at war, I think, there. It's Miranda Morales there. A little bit of claret coming out.
Yeah, and Zajsluch once more with a wee dance with a celebration. I love her energy. It's absolutely fantastic to see top athletes just enjoying themselves. And Poland are doing exactly that at the moment. It's 31 points to 7, so they're flexing their muscles here a little bit in the second of the Cup semi-finals. Spain with possession from the kick-off.
Yeah, just going a little lateral there, just running across the field. There's no forward momentum there, obviously, downhearted a little bit. However, we're now seeing a bit of power going up through the middle. Just playing for a bit of pride here. And there'll also be the third place playoff to come up against Germany for as well, which will be a good game as we're seeing the break up the middle. However, Poland's certainly not giving up, and they're fighting at every ruck. That's fantastic work in there from Zawadzka. Great power to defend there as Spain still have control of the ball and get the ball in the wide channels. She's breaking a tackle. That's Ruiz Madrid. She should go all the way for a consolation try for Spain, and she's delighted. Hand up in the air. Probably a little bit tired now though, Ian.
Yeah, they'll all be flat on their feet. You can see Polish players also on the lying down on their backs, on their knees, hands on heads, hands on hips. These players have had a real ding dong here. 31 points to 12 and the decision is made for this semi-final. Poland progress in the cup competition as we see the last play of the game, the conversion off the outside of the foot. Unfortunately, it's not a clean strike, and Poland celebrate once more. It'll be another final for them. They do it time and time again. They're always in there or roundabout. And Poland with a really dominant display, Andy.
Yeah, deserved winners in the end there. We talked in the first half there, it was 50-50. But the second half there, Poland just came out all guns blazing. And they played for each other. They worked hard for each other. They got their scores in. Well-deserved winners in the end, but Spain can't be too downbeat about that. They've got a third place playoff to play in, and they've had some great games. We talked about how they've got better and better through the tournament. However, they met their match here today up against the red wall that Poland provided there, especially in defence. They were just non-stop, not allowing the Spanish to play, and they did get their consolation try at the end, which is great. However, it is Poland who will be in the final against Ireland. Really looking forward to that one later in the day as we look forward to the men's tournament next.
Yeah, and we progress with the cup semi-finals of the men's competition. We see another Spanish team take the field. It's just the Spanish women losing out in their semi, and the Spanish men will now compete with a strong French team. France finalists in Hamburg, where they lost out to Germany, and they will look to go all the way here this weekend. If they do, they will be crowned champions of Europe for 2026. With Germany winning that tournament and sinking right down the rankings this weekend. It does mean that if France win this weekend, no one will be able to catch them.
That's correct, Ian, yeah, but let's not rule out Italy at the moment. They've been playing really well, as have Belgium, but both of those teams have got the power and the ability to beat this team, but France at the moment are looking very dominant. However, never write off the Spanish. They are always up for a fight, and here we go in this first of the semi-finals.
Yeah, good kick-off from Spain, expertly taken by France. And Paris looks to Le Flamand. Back down the left-hand side, they cut back, and physical first encounters. There's no roll there, but the roll coming too late for the referee's liking, so first penalty of the game goes to France. They tap and run and attack with Paris once more. Into the wide channels, Caraba. And bit of a coach killer there maybe, Andy. That's something that you always say you hate to see.
Yeah, just running into touch, basically. They're running too close to the touchline and giving a bit of an easy out for Spain there, just to give them a little nudge and push them out there. But again, it was well played by Spain to push them over there, to force them into that position. And they will have the line out here, or they'll have the scrum, sorry. They've opted for. Must have been knocked on into touch, was it, Ian?
It must have been indeed, you're right, Andy. I think maybe the offload just being forced there. I didn't quite see it perfectly myself. And we'll go pitch side for an interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, European Champions 2026, Poland. Yes, girls, you've done it one match early. Came second in Hamburg, only lost to France. You're going to do a double here?
I can take the honors. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for supporting us. As coach said, we had to use the 6th gear. He said it to me, but I think that everybody used the 6th gear in their best specialty. The girls have done an amazing team job, and we're going to bring the same to the final.
Perfect, girls. Congratulations on that European Championship. Let's have a look if you can make it a double and split, yeah?
So I'm back to play here after a lovely interaction with that Polish women's team. It's the Men's Cup semi-final between France and Spain. France in possession and bursting down the right-hand side. It's number 67, Wassermann, Johann Wassermann, with the try for France. That gets things underway here, Andy.
Yeah, lovely break down the outside, as you said, as we were listening to that interview. There was a bit of interplay going on with the French, and they managed to get the ball to the far side, down that right-hand touch line, and on this occasion staying infield. Johann Wassermann just with the final dart over the line for the score, and unfortunately the kick not quite as accurate as he would like, so 5 points to 0 for France.
Yeah, it's a good start to the semi-final for them. 5 points to 0 after just over 3 minutes played on Paris to kick off. They have a very good set piece, so they'll look to contest this and maybe win it back. They're not able to, and that's taken in by Spain gratefully, and they look to move the ball in the width. Down the wide left-hand side, riding one challenge but dragged down and recycling well, wide. We've come to know this from Spain. Oh, very unfortunate. Your number 7, Canepa Mendo, who's got 4 tries in one game yesterday, just unable to catch that ball. I think he might just have took his eye off it and looked towards the try line where he wanted to go.
Yeah, he either looked towards the try line or the big mass that is Caraba was up in front of him, so yeah, a little knock on into touch there as we see France launching once more from their line out.
Yeah, I thought they were going to look to bring Wassermann back into play after his first try, but they cut back on the inside, and little inaccuracy under pressure means that it'll be a Spanish scrum. It's a midfield scrum, or almost midfield. So options on both sides. And I can see the number 7, I mentioned it before, the try-scoring machine, Canepa Mendo, wide on that left-hand side. But they come right through Nieto Simon. Recycling nicely, and again, nice passing here, and quick passing, gets the ball into the hands of your number 7. And he is dragged down on the halfway line, but there's a penalty to Spain, who slow things down just a little.
Yeah, ball going out. They're not quite as accurate as they wanted with the passes. A couple of them just floated up in this wind there, which gave a bit of time for Artur Materon to make the tackle on Canepo Mendo there. However, there was a little infringement by the second player coming down, where he put his hands on the ground, passed the ball, and giving the possession back again to Spain, and they will opt for the scrum on the halfway line, on the 5 metre line, which creates a huge amount of space on this right hand side for the likes of Canepo Mendo to run in.
Indeed, but the inaccuracies here, and we don't know that from Spain. They're normally technically so accurate. Absolutely one of their strength, and maybe a reason why they like to play this wide. Again, a penalty against France, so they're not having much joy in and around the breakdown. It's also, we're talking about features of games, the feature of the French game is the aggressive work around the breakdown. They like to counter ruck more than jackal. And Pares catching the ball in his own 22, Spain missing touch from the penalty. Leflamore feeding into the wide channels. Pares on the switch play, coming from deep. It was a number 21, Mathuron. And France kind of controlling possession here after earning it back, but not really making any territorial gain. They have a 5-point lead, but that's very slim, and bursting through Leflamore into the 22, slowing and jogging and looking over his shoulder. He'll touch down, calm as you like, doubling France's lead, and I'm sure Pares will add the extra 2 points from this try.
Yeah, as you said, they were just playing around back in their own half there for a moment or two, just getting control of the game. Didn't seem to be going anywhere, but they were moving the Spanish defenders around. Couple of little dummy runs, and once again we saw Artur Materon just injecting a little bit of speed, which pushed a couple of the Spanish players to the left-hand side, and that opened up the soft shoulder on one side for your favourite player in this team, I'm sure, Magic Merlin himself, Merlin the Magician, Le Flamand. Great score by France, as you said, with the conversion going over. Half-time, 12-0 for France.
Yeah, it's the first of 2 semi-finals in the cup competition, and France with the advantage here as we see some highlights from that first half. Spanish players being lifted unceremoniously, and French players scoring tries. It was a very even state of affairs, wasn't it, Andy? So maybe the 12-0 scoreline not quite reflecting the run of play?
Yeah, I think Spain have made a couple more mistakes than France, so France probably deserved to be up, and France have got a good bit of control of this game. They seem to be moving the ball a little more fluidly than the Spanish, and probably deserve this 12-0 up. However, all to play in the second half, and I'm fairly sure that we'll see both teams coming out firing in the second half.
That's what we want to see, certainly. We're here for top quality rugby. These are the best of Europe, and we want to see them going at it for 14 minutes. Just looking to see if there's any changes being made. I've not picked up on any yet, Andy. Spain setting up already. They were done with their team talk very quickly, so there can't be any changes being made from them tactically. They just really need to get the get hold of this ball early doors and control possession for a few phases and get into the flow of things, don't they?
Absolutely. 7 minutes is a long time in this game as we see Perez just getting the kick off. A lovely bit of height in it and a great chase from Materon there. Spanish couldn't control that one. It just nudges into touch. So it must have come off a Spanish player as the assistant there is pointing towards France for the line-out.
Yeah, French line-out, and that's exactly what they want at this stage of the game. In the 22 of Spain, if they can extend their lead now, they would feel much more comfortable. Oh, he just escaping one tackle. Leflamont recycles. Perez, but the ball going behind his back, and Spain regather. They look to move the ball wide. Canepa Menda tackled well. And Spain recycling again, looking for the width. It's a missed pass. Just a little bit floated. That killed maybe the momentum of the on-running player. And it really is a game of fine margins, isn't it, Andy? These teams, not much separating them at all, but little errors like that could.
Yeah, just as we said at half-time, I think Spain have just brought a couple of errors into a couple more errors than France in this game. And as you said, that floated pass to the far side was just too high. However, on the way back, the passes were almost perfect. But on that occasion, Canepa Mendo couldn't quite control the ball in his hand there. Little knock on, giving the ball back to France in a prime position here in the 50-metre channel with a wide open space to the left.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but that's the second time Canepa Mendo has dropped the ball in a similar situation. So he's now taken off the park. He's replaced. Didn't catch the number off his replacement. We'll clear that up for you in a minute. But fresh legs in the park for Spain. And that scrum just gets a little bit messy. I think we'll see a reset. Yes, we do indeed. It'll still be French ball. French put-in from the scrum on a fantastic attacking platform. Is that Wasserman still on the park out in the wide left? He scored the first try today. Showing great pace down the wing. And again, it's another really messy scrum. Hotly contested by Spain, but not legally done so. They're driving up and round, aren't they, Andy?
Yeah, just a referee clearly saying that's what they did, and both teams were almost vertical by the time that scrum finished, so there was definitely not some horizontal pushing there, and it's a tap and go from France. Caraba with the carry, and the ball looks to be a little bit loose for a second, but France restructure quickly. Nice little interchange on the left hand side before Perez recycles. Moving it back to the right, it's Leflamont to Caraba, who gets the big fend in. Making good meters and avoiding the touchline well. Before France recycle and move back to the left hand side. So they're almost beating Spain at their own game here. With the wide tactic that we see from the Spanish so often, it works out terrifically for France, and it is your man Johan Wasserman for his second of the semi-final. Yeah, that was a great handling move, wasn't it? The passes were accurate, flat, hard, in front of the on-runners. And it's a lovely little finish off, and as we said, I believe it was Johan Wasserman that went in the corner there as we see the kick going. Just off to the side by the looks of it. So with just over 3 minutes left to go, France are up 17 points to 0. I wouldn't say that they're cruising, but they're looking like they're in control of this game at the moment. Yeah, cruising would be a bit much, wouldn't it, Andy? But like you say, complete control of this fixture at the moment, and if they can maybe pin Spain back now, then they will continue that control. Now indeed they regain possession. Oh, ball bobbling unkindly there, and Perez tripping over his younger look-alike.
before Leflamore comes away. Oh, a slight knock on there from the Spanish players. He tried to intercept, but France won't care as it falls kindly for them and they're off. Pares once more to Leflamore. He's had a fantastic tournament, distributing the ball well in the midfield in that link man position. Comes in again, but Spain look to have won this maybe, before Leflamore, just cool as you like, gets over and says, I'll take that.
Yeah, Spain just lying there. They didn't really try and roll away after tackle. They're calling it that it's holding on, but maybe he just tried to get his hands once he was on the ground after he had won the ball there. He just lay there and just held on to the ball, but Le Flamand came on in to secure the ball.
So just under 2 minutes left on the clock, and France not cruising, but as you said, in full control, and Wasserman gets his hat-trick. So Johan Wasserman really performing in the business end of the competition, peaking when it matters most.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him having a little rest now. However, great play again from France. They're just dominating this game. They're finding gaps everywhere in this Spanish defence. I think the Spaniards are out in their feet at the moment. They've reached their potential here at this tournament in Split, I think. But they will have one more game to go.
Yeah, 7 is a bit of a game of momentum, isn't it? We say that, we talk about that sometimes. At the start of the game just didn't go well for them. They were always chasing it, and when it goes that way, sometimes it's just not your day. And I think that's kind of the story of things here in the semi-final, Andy.
Yeah, France are a force to be reckoned with, aren't they? So not easy to play against them, I'm sure. And Spain are seeing that as they do get the possession here from the kickoff. And let's see if they can launch something. Let's get a score on the board, Spain. Let's go.
Just a quick update for you. You just alluded to the idea that maybe Wasserman would be replaced, and he has indeed been, by number 18, Jeremy Nemor. One of the younger players in the squad, only 20 years of age. He's a big lad. We've not seen much of him, so it'll be great to see him with ball in hand. But first, Spain with the attack from their own half.
That's good.
They recycle well and play in the width and the depth. Trying to attack some outside shoulders here maybe. Leflamore comes across well. That is the new man. Namor with the tackle. And Spain coming away nicely here, injecting some pace in the midfield, and a huge fend, throwing away the French defender. It was Mondinat who just took flight for a moment, and Spain back to the right hand side. The French defence really regathered well after that missed tackle, didn't they? And they're just not allowing the Spanish to really make any territory gain through these big carries.
Yeah, it's a little more urgency from Spain as well, as we're seeing them really being a bit more physical, and Daboy Baravi just really hitting some people there in number 12 and just putting some power into it, and it's probably tired him out looking at him as he's standing walking back. But Spain, they have possession control, but then they go and try and throw the miracle pass, and it should be the end of the game. Seeing France win this game 22 points to 0, they will now progress into the cup final.
They will indeed. What an exciting game it was, and a terrific performance from a dominant France side. A young France side as well, so they're going from strength to strength. Some of these young lads will be growing from game to game as well. It's a really valuable experience that they're taking with them. France second in Hamburg, and they progress to the final once more, where they will face the winner of the second semi-final between Italy and Belgium. That coming up for you right away here in Split, Croatia. And the squads just being displayed to all the viewers back home. Both teams looking very, very strong this weekend. Italy finished third in Hamburg and Belgium fourth. So this is a repeat of that third-fourth playoff match where Italy just got the upper hand on their Belgian counterparts. A lot of excitement for this. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, how impressed they've been. I think nations such as France carry much more expectation, and I think Italy and Belgium have really delighted a lot of the fans here. Punching maybe slightly above their weight, although they did reach the semis in Hamburg, so I don't want to do anyone any injustice here or any disrespect, but fantastic to see both teams going from strength to strength. The Italians led by Mba. And the player is now taken to the field with a very slight delay there. Andy's going back down pitch side as we speak. He's going to try and find an interview from the last semi-final. I suspect he'll be looking for a victorious French player. As we see the Italians ready to kick off here. Mathieu Lozano of France to officiate the game. Belgium playing from left to right in the white kit. Italy from right to left in their azure blue. And we're off. A big high kick falling down on the Belgian lifting pod, who just misjudged it slightly, but they get the penalty. An unfair collision in the air was the call. So early possession here for Belgium. And they set up with Vincent Hart here on the right hand side, Godsmark and Lally on the left, forcing the Italian defence to split as well and cover both sides of the scrum. They do go left to Godsmark, to Lally, who comes with real pace. The Italian defence covering well, but once again infringing at the breakdown. Referee sending them back 10 metres. And Belgium just weigh up their options. Cool as you like, not rushing things here. And they choose the scrum. So this time, slightly different setup, obviously. The scrum's wide on the left-hand side, so we've got three players all fanned out to the right. Gaspard Lally around about 25 metres in from the sideline, maybe even 30. So he's got a lot of space to run into if he wants to go outside his opposing number on. That's exactly what he tries, but he loses his footing. The pitch is held up excellently this weekend. We've not seen much of that, so Lally will be upset. But Belgium come down the left-hand side, and that was a big fend coming in there against Inzedini of Italy, who's no small man. Godsmark. Oh, dummied the scissors and then thought twice and did throw it, but it just fell a little bit too low for Lally to gather, and he looks up at Godsmark.
So, Stefan, congratulations on getting to the final here. Much better than Hamburg. Are you feeling the good vibes just now?
Yeah, of course. With the beginning of the week, we just learn each other, and I think the connection are more than last week in Hamburg.
Yeah, the last tournament in Hamburg, as we say, that connection not quite there, but definitely coming together, and it's still a very young team. You're actually the oldest in the team, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not the oldest, but it's a team very young, with young players, but it's the first time we play together, so we just train 3 days before the tournament together, and we make some good matches, so we are very, very happy about our tournament. It was tough at the beginning, the first day, but we learn about our defeat, and now we're growing up, and I think we're gonna go do a big final.
And do you have a preference to the team that you meet? We're seeing Belgium and Italy on the field. Do you have a preference to which team you'd like to try and beat?
No, I don't have preference. I have more friends in Belgium, in Belgic team, so it can be fun to play Belgic. I don't know what is the score now, but every team we're gonna play, we're gonna win.
Well, congratulations on making the final. We do hope that you win. All the best. Merci. Bonne chance.
Thank you.
So that interview was taking place. We've seen Belgium progress well up the park, aided slightly by Italian ill-discipline, but Belgium controlling possession over the opening 4 minutes of the first half of the second semi-final in the cup competition. Godsmark taken down well by Bazzoni. And Lally now in the outside channels, putting in the footwork and going for the line. He is such a threat with ball in hand. Gaspard Lally, the tall Belgian, using all his experience to get the scoring underway in semi-final number 2. And it'll be Vincent Hart to attempt the conversion, a very good kicker. We saw him have a lot of success with the boot yesterday. And a good strike, but it just drifts narrowly right of the upright. They won't be too worried about that, because if they can get ball back from this kickoff and just control possession as well as they have done up until now, then they'll have absolutely nothing to worry about here. Vincent Hart, after taking the conversion, will also take the kickoff. And Mba, the captain of Italy, does replace Dani. Inza Dani, the number 7. We saw him getting thrown off in a big fend earlier, so maybe something not quite right with him at the moment. Mba has had a terrific tournament, so watch out for the big man who's just taken to the field with his number 10. Bazzoni takes that ball nicely. Sorry, my mistake, that was not Bazzoni, that was Gacy. They both wear a similar scrum cap. Mba now getting himself into the game, but Italy pinned back into their own 22. Christian Lai with the grubber kick, which is covered well by Morini, but Lai gets there first, controls it, picks it up, looks inside, throws a dummy and then trips over his own feet. Terribly unlucky there. He looked to be on the way to the try line. Italy do win the penalty though, and they go again through Gacy. Gacy up to the 5 metre line now. Belgium looking for the jackal, but not getting their hands on the ball on this occasion. Good support play from Italy, spreading it wide. That is Bazzoni. Bazzoni out to the wing and over for the try. It is Luca Belloni of Italy tying things up after that missed conversion from Belgium. It is 5-5, and Italy with the opportunity to take the lead here.
Yeah, that was a really fast phase of play there. Italy going from their own 22 right the way down with a little grubber chip and chase there from Christian Lai, who outstripped Morini, only to move the ball back to this far side, or near side from the far side, and Belloni getting his mitts on the ball there to get a lovely, lovely score. Quite close to the post, however, the kick doesn't go over from Briskela, which means it's 5-5 as we hear the half-time hooter going, but just enough time for one more play.
Yeah, just enough time for one play, absolutely right. 5-5, stalemate here. Italy go long, maybe hoping that this ball... they've pinned Belgium back, they regather, kick the ball off the park. We will go into half-time with a stalemate. Oh no, we won't. The referee says the push off the ball is reason enough for a penalty to Belgium. But they won't want to play on here, will they? They were the ones that chose to put the ball off the park. Vincent Hart taps and kicks the ball dead as expected. We will go into half-time with this 5-5 stalemate.
Yeah, just a silly little play at the end there. I don't think there was anything malicious in it, as we've talked about before. It was just a case of, that man's in my way, I'll raise my hands up and give him a little push. On another occasion it might be not the best idea to do, but as you said, the Belgians had already decided they're getting the ball off the park, so they're never going to tap and go from there. They're quite happy to go into this half-time huddle, 5-5, and just take the breath as we see the camera shots there showing what goes on in the midfield when it's at half-time in the middle of the field there, as we just run through Lali's score followed by Bizzoni's score.
Yeah, Baloney. Two very similar names there. L's and O's and Z's being replaced.
Yeah, I just had a little interview with Stéphane Pares there. And the French very happy about the fact that they've won that game. They feel that they're coming on to a game now. They had better composure. He obviously found it quite funny that I called him the old man of the team there, which he is. But what he was telling me was that they've only come together for 3 days, this team. There's a lot of new young players in the team. They're building the squad slowly but surely. They're starting to come together. They're getting composure. They're getting structure. Everyone's starting to know what they're doing, and they were obviously disappointed with Hamburg in the final, but not just the final, just in the way that they played. They didn't feel that they were together as much as they could be, but they're coming on to a game which makes it a bit ominous for whichever team wins here and comes up against them in the final. And Stefan was saying that he doesn't really mind who he plays against. He loves the banter and rapport that they have with La Belgique, but at the same time he knows that they're a force to be reckoned with, as are the Italians. So he was happy with anyone, but more importantly, he was happy with the way his team were playing, as we now look to see who is going to meet them in that final as the second half gets underway.
Yeah, in 7 minutes' time we will know exactly how that will look, how it will shape up. And Belgium getting us underway through Vincent Hart. Gaspard Lally looking for a big hit there, but just sliding up slightly. He didn't quite get the dip in his hips and his knees to make that challenge. Just giving Italy an opportunity to win some territory and start this second half in the kind of fashion that they would want.
Yeah, and they certainly do win some territory. It's a great kick from just outside his own 22 to just outside the Belgian 22. It's a lovely kick for a great opportunity for a line out here for the Italians to find some open space and see if they can get across that Belgian line.
Bizzoni moving the ball wide. That's Christian Lai with the white scrum cap and the number 3. Such a dangerous player, but on this occasion Belgium have him well wrapped up, and I think it was Gaspard Lally that got his hands on that ball, so he's a try scorer and working really hard in defence here as well.
Absolutely, it certainly was Gaspard Lally. He was working really hard to get across, to get in there, to get his hands on that ball first before the Italian support player could get in, and really well done by him as they clear their lines into a slight breeze. It's not a huge breeze down there, it was just pitch side. It's not massive. It's not really making a huge impact on the game. It is there, but it's more important that they get some ball in hand at this time.
Yeah, that was a good kick again from Vincent Hart. He's a real safe man with the boot. And I think Muric is on the park now. Muric, sorry, we corrected the pronunciation yesterday. Muric it is indeed. The big man from Belgium with the broad shoulders. Bizzoni with great footwork. He beats Muric on the inside, but he's darting away towards the try line, in under the post, taking the lead for Italy. Filippo Bizzoni of Italy, the 23-year-old, delighted with his influence of this game. He's been electric all weekend.
Yeah, that was some great pace from Bizzoni there, just stepping inside, Muric making him turn, and he went between him and another player who hadn't quite connected at that point in time, but there's a great sleight of foot there just to go in under the post and get that converted try to put Italy in the lead here. 12 points to 7, 2 minutes gone in this cup semi-final.
Yeah, things shaping up nicely for Italy in this second half, but it's a narrow lead. That kick sitting up and bouncing kindly for Belgium. They can take it on the second attempt. And they distribute again through Hart and Muric with the step and looking to attack the wide channels. Oh, he's going to take the Italian with him, carrying ball and opponent. But it's a penalty now. Vincent Hart taps and goes. Oh, the referee says that wasn't for the mark. I thought he'd actually done a very good job to make sure he took it in front of the referee, but detail is everything. And Italy moving the ball out wide right. Again, Belgium looking quite physical in this second half, taking the challenge to the Italians now. They trail by 7 points. Oh, and a nice looping pass out into the wide channels. Muric pushing off Ndombe Lobby. Lally in the middle of the park now to Marini. Marini's been excellent as well, not just here in Split but also in Hamburg in the first leg. Hart. Oh, he's created the 2-on-1 well and he's got himself. And Ndombe Lobby just dragging him down. I thought Hart might be able to escape his grasps as the first drops of rain fall here in Split. Italy back in possession now, in their own 22. Ndombe Lobby picks it up and looks forward. Running into a gap, he's slightly isolated. Muric is there first. Muric has the ball. He passes to his teammate, and Belgium with a great opportunity here. Hart recycling. Muric once more. Straightens it up. Going through the middle. Stumbling slightly, but maintaining possession well. Oh, and a penalty for Italy just halts that attack. And the rain's starting to fall a little bit harder now here, Andy.
Yeah, a little bit of rain coming down there, which might make the ball slippy as the day goes on, but I don't think it's going to... One moment, please. I don't think it's going to last too long. I don't think it's here to stay. However, it will make a change there. But what a play there. That was some great stuff there from Belgium, really attacking. We thought there might have been a penalty for Lally as he was boshed off the ball a little bit after his kick. However, Belgium kept chasing, go up there and put pressure on Italy, but Italy worked really hard to get back in defence and showed their ability, then not just in attack but in defence, to get their structure back together and eventually getting a turnover there and clearing their lines into the Belgian half for a line out.
Yeah, just over 2 minutes to be played in the semi-final here, and Italy actually did a very good job here in such a tight game to close things out. 2 minutes and Italy in possession. Bizzoni, and they hit it up in the midfield, moving the ball away in the last minute for moving it away from Muric, attacking the wide channels, and Ndombe Lobby is on hand to gather the offload. Dragged down by Lally, who wins the penalty for Belgium, and he's off. This is a great opportunity, but unable to win the battle of pace. And once more, a Belgian penalty. Muric distributing well. Sorry, that was Godsmark. Easily confused the pair. So, here is Muric. And the Italians have him well under control in this game. Godsmark now, once more. Italian legs starting to look slightly tired, I think, Andy.
Yeah, Belgium are putting some pressure on. I love the fact that Lally just tapped and went down the outside, staying infield as we see this Belgium attack coming, but the pressure and defence there from Italy is immense, and they're finding it difficult to find gaps there, and Belgium are working really, really hard in here, trying to get the gaps as we just lose a little bit of structure here. However, Berger holds on to the ball as Godsmark gets there to clear it. But look at the pressure coming on from Italy as they win the turnover there. Godsmark a little unsure what to do. His teammates not quite in position, holding on to ball. Italy get their two hands on it for the turnover.
Yeah, and just over 30 seconds left to be played. I mentioned it before, this is a repeat of the fourth playoff that we saw in Hamburg. Italy coming out just on top on that occasion, and if they can hold on for 30 seconds, they'll repeat that again here today and progress to the final with the opportunity to make the podium of the Rugby Europe Sevens Championship, not just here in Croatia, but in the total standings over both legs.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. They have got not only to make the podium, they could lift the cup, as it were. In fact, they should make the podium, the top three, that's for sure. But they do have the opportunity there. If they can get to the final and then beat France, they have got that opportunity to lift the title. And on this occasion here, as they get the line out, I suspect that we will see a line out win and then two passes back, maybe not even two passes, ball getting kicked out of the park. Here we go.
Yeah, and that'll be a real ding-dong if they do come up against France in the final. As the buzzer sounds, I would suggest that probably will be, but Belgium with one last roll of the dice, if they can go the length of the park here and get a 7-pointer, then the game will go into extra time. Oh, what a clean out in that ruck from two Italians, and they win the penalty, and with that act of brilliance from the two defending players who bundled over that ruck, Italy have secured a victory. They just need to tap and get the ball off the park.
Yeah, the referee's just going to have a word with Captain Gaspard Lally there, because there's too much dissent there coming from Belgium. They're not happy with the clean out, but from what we saw, it was a powerful clean out. It was low, it didn't seem to go high. And Belgium obviously unhappy as we see Italy just kick the ball out the park there, and they will meet France in the cup quarterfinals today here in the cup final. I apologize, cup quarterfinals. I'm going backwards in time there. Cup final, Italy v France, which will be coming up later today.
Yeah, it's no wonder you're going a little bit doolally. We've just commentated 8 games in a row. You've been running up and down the stairs for the interviews as well. Yeah, I'm sorry for putting you through that, Andy. But yeah, it will be Italy against France in the men's final. But just quickly before you log out, viewers back home, don't forget this next break will be shorter than planned. We will resume at 2:30 local time, so in just over an hour's time. We will be going live from 2:20, so don't miss that. It'll be the women's ranking 11th place final before we go into the men's, and we'll be working through the finals up to the top final of the women's competition and the men's competition, and that'll be at 7 o'clock tonight. But we'll see you back here in just around an hour's time when the action will progress. Thank you for everyone back home for logging in and viewing. We're going to try and get another interview with a victorious Italian player, maybe the captain in bar, as he walks towards the tunnel, and that will be the final sequence of our broadcast before this short break.
Ready to go. Get everybody. Okay, guys, I'm going to have a quick word with Francesco here, your injured player. Double break. Francesco, how proud are you of the guys making it to the final?
No, it's incredible emotion. I can't describe it right now. Just like getting very emotional. Like see the guys, the effort that they put every single game, every single time. It's been more than 3 years work since like the guys back in the days where like probably we don't have much view in Italy for the sevens, and now these guys are doing everything to make it count, and now the qualification for Dubai, it's incredible.
Fantastic qualification for Dubai, but you still have the opportunity to win this tournament by beating France in the final. Can the team do it?
That's the dream, and I know we want to achieve that, so we're going to try everything to do it.
Fantastic. We wish you all the best and a speedy recovery as well.
Thank you very much.
All the best for the final to the team.
Thank you very much.
Good, okay, relax.